गुड गुड।
मैं कई दिनों से सोच रहा था बोलने के लिए।
ओके, लाइव स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट हो गया है, प्लीज चेक।
जी। हम्म। हाँ सर, आने लग गया, दिख रहा है।
गुड।
अभी आप दिख रहे हैं सामने स्क्रीन पे।
मैं उनको टाइप कर रहा हूँ सभी
हाँ
मेंबर्स को कि अपने यूट्यूब से पे लाइव आए।
जी। दिख रहा है।
ओके, लो पटेल सर।
Yes, sir.
Please speak to our Senani sir so that he can join in time. And I am requesting all co-hosts, please admit insurers that person insurance companies representative who are attending and whose name are being available with us, sir.
लो पटेल जी को थोड़ा कैमरा एडजस्ट करने के लिए बोलिए।
हाँ, लो पटेल सर, थोड़ा सा अपना मतलब कैमरे को एडजस्ट कीजिए, ऊपर लाइए आप, अपना चेहरा केवल आधा दिख रहा है आपका।
इतना ही काफी है सर।
नहीं 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 सर, इतना काफी नहीं है। वो जोशी जी कह रहे हैं तो हमें उनका वेटेज देना चाहिए सर हर बात का। वो एक्चुअली बात कर रहे हैं इसलिए शायद अभी अपने आप को बाद में एडजस्ट कर लेंगे जोशी जी।
ओके।
In my opinion, it is 7:59.
Yeah.
We should admit all the common participants, and when we reach to 70, we will hold on for the next participants.
नो 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 नो, दीपक गड़बड़ हो जाएगी भाई, वेट कर लो, इनको आदत डालने दो यूट्यूब पे आने की। दैट इज माई टेक सर।
Okay.
सेनानी साहब को 2-3 मिनट लगेंगे, मगर पहले उनने 5 मिनट बोला था, फिर बोला ऐसा चलो मैं तुरंत कर रहा हूँ।
ओके।
गुरुजी नमस्ते।
केतकर साहब को प्रणाम। जय श्री कृष्ण। गुरुदेव प्रणाम।
अरे इतना बढ़िया ये सब्जेक्ट आपने चूज किया है, स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन का।
सर
मैंने एक मेल डाला हुआ है, क्या मैं ज्वाइन हो सकता हूँ?
क्यों नहीं हो सकते ना सर, आप आइए नहीं अपना ऐसे वर्चुअल टेक ग्रुप।
आठ बज गए हैं तो क्यों ना हम अपने रेगुलर पार्टिसिपेंट्स जो हैं उनको एंट्री देना शुरू करें।
That's what I was saying, sir.
सर हमारी दिक्कत ये है कि हमें ये नहीं पता कि कितने लोग।
नहीं ओम जी, जो लेट कमर्स थे वो यूट्यूब पर ज्वाइन होंगे।
तो सर इनमें केवल जो हमारी हमारी कैपेसिटी है 50 से ऊपर मत बढ़ने दीजिए।
सर जो लोग लेट आते हैं, जो ऑनर नहीं करते हैं टाइम को, तो उनको सफर होने दीजिए। व्हाई वी शुड बॉदर फॉर देम?
सर नहीं सर, दिक्कत ये है कि फिर हमारे
टेक केयर ऑफ सर, वी शुड टेक केयर ऑफ रेगुलर पार्टिसिपेंट जो हमेशा आते हैं, रोज हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पर आते हैं।
मेरी तो
ऐसी मेरी
रिक्वेस्ट ये है
गुजारिश
सर, इसको 50 से ऊपर नहीं बढ़ने दे, कैपेसिटी को
ठीक है ना
50 तक
सर?
ही रखें।
अभी तो हम बहुत ही लिमिटेड है, 12 ही लोग
ठीक है,
वेटिंग रूम में है।
एग्रीड
सर
सर, एग्रीड।
इंश्योरेंस आएंगे ना, उनके लिए जगह छोड़ रहे हैं, शायद मेरे ख्याल से ये पर्पस होना चाहिए।
गुरुदेव हम
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर हम 50 के बाद
सर,
रोकते हैं,
नमस्कार।
50 तक हम लोग कंटिन्यू करते हैं एंट्री देना।
ठीक है, ले लीजिए रेगुलर को, लेकिन बस ये ध्यान रहे को होस्ट प्लीज कि वो 50 से ऊपर नहीं जाए हमारी कैपेसिटी। ओके,
Om Prakash ji, please unmute yourself.
ओके, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर। दीपक जी, मैंने सभी सीसी मेंबर्स को भी इनवाइट किया है ऑन देयर पर्सनल व्हाट्सएप नंबर। अगर कोई आते हैं तो प्लीज टेक केयर फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ ओनली दिस सेशन, listening and their comments only, not
Yes,
for the
sir, yes,
political
sir.
purpose.
And
विजय केतकर साहब को मैं ले रहा हूँ।
न्यू इंडिया से प्रखर सर ने ज्वाइन कर लिया। वेलकम सर।
गुड
इवनिंग
प्रखर जी, गुड इवनिंग। आप उनको अनम्यूट कीजिए।
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
गुड इवनिंग।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
Yes.
So shortly we will start our program, sir. Please wait for me.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening to all the participants and insurers who have joined till now. We welcome you all on the platform. Shortly we will be starting with the session. I request to all the members, if there is any surrounding noise, you may please mute yourself.
I'm sure we all are having habit. Ketkar sir, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. So सभी participants से request है, holded hand request है, अपने आप के आसपास अगर कोई भी साउंड हो अपने आप को म्यूट रखिए सर। क्वेश्चन सेशन आंसर है, इसमें आपको जब आप हैंड रेज करके अपना क्वेश्चन रखिए, एक बार चैट बॉक्स में डाल दीजिए, पहले हैंड रेज करके अपना क्वेश्चन रखिए ताकि हमारे जो गुरुदेव हैं वो आपको आंसर, गुरुदेव पीसी शुक्ला सर आंसर दे सके सभी को। ये सेशन क्वेश्चन आंसर के सेशन के ही लिए रखा गया है। सो प्लीज आई रिक्वेस्ट अगेन टू मेंटेन डेकोरम ऑफ आवर प्लेटफॉर्म सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू वेरी मच। जोशी जी बोलिए।
हाँ ओम प्रकाश जी, जो क्वेश्चंस पहले हमने दिए हैं
जी
उनको जरा पहले लीजिए, दैट इज माय
डेफिनेट, वो गुरुदेव ले रहे हैं, जो भी है ना सेशन सर उसी हिसाब से ही लेंगे गुरुदेव। उनके पास है वो लिस्ट सारी।
ओके।
सो क्योंकि आई बिलीव लोपटेल सर, लोपटेल सर,
ये सर
प्लीज जब तक गुरुदेव आते हैं तब तक पिछला सेशन जो था अपना अगर उसके ऊपर ब्रीफ कर सकेंगे तो दैट विल बी नाइस, सो दैट द साइलेंस विल बी ओवर।
Yeah, sure. First of all, I welcome all the participants, my colleague, surveyor brother, इवन इंश्योरर। ये सेशन के बारे में हम लोग ब्रीफ अप चालू करते हैं। पीसी शुक्ला जी को ज्वाइन करने में 2-3 मिनट की देरी है, और तब तक मैं पहले राठी साहब को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि पिछले सेशन के बारे में हल्का सा ब्रीफ अप करें, और फिर उसके बाद में सेनानी साहब को एक बार रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो सेशन का स्टार्टअप लें, और उसके बाद में जो पिछले बार के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स थे तब तक मैं उसको स्ट्रीमलाइन कर करके 1 बाय 1 प्रेजेंट करने की कोशिश करता हूँ। तो राठी साहब, आई विल रिक्वेस्ट कि आप एक बार जो लास्ट सेशन था और शुक्ला सर का एक फॉर्मल इंट्रोडक्शन और सारी चीजें एक बार स्टार्टअप करें सर। सर आपको अनम्यूट करना अपने आप को सर।
Co-host, please unmute yourself.
धन्यवाद सर। आज इस मंच पर उपस्थित सारे पार्टिसिपेंट, गुरुदेव सेनानी जी, गुरुदेव बाहरी जी, गुरुदेव आनंद जी और तमाम गुरुदेव जिनके नाम, सबके नाम इंक्लूड नहीं कर रहा हूं, पर तमाम गुरुदेव जो यहाँ पर ज्ञान की वर्षा करते हैं, उन सबको सादर नमन करते हुए हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। एक शुरुआत कि भाई जितनी भी ग्रे एरियाज है या जितनी इस तरह की चीजें हैं कि जिसमें हमेशा शंका कुशंका बनी रहती है कि हाउ टू प्रोसीड, एंड देयर इज ए 2 स्कूल्स ऑफ थॉट प्रिवेलिंग, इन चीजों के ऊपर में एक चर्चा सत्र की एक हमने शुरुआत की है एसएलए वर्चुअल टेक ग्रुप में। तो जिसकी पहला पुष्प, फर्स्ट इंट्रोडक्टरी, पहला लेक्चर सेनानी साहब ने दिया था, जो मिसलेनियस टाइप ऑफ व्हीकल से रिलेटेड था, और ये जो दूसरा लेक्चर है जो स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबस्शन फायर पॉलिसी से रिलेटेड 20 तारीख को, 20 अगस्त को हमने लिया था। उसमें उन्होंने स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबस्शन, व्हाट इज एड ऑन ऑफ स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबस्शन, हाउ टू डील विद स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबस्शन, इन सारी चीजों के बारे में उस दिन काफी सारी बातें या हर चीज को शुक्ला साहब ने हम सबको बताया था। उस दिन क्वेश्चन आंसर एफएक्यूज हम लोग ले नहीं पाए थे, तो एफएक्यूज के लिए ये तय हुआ था कि एक नया सेशन हम लेंगे जिसमें एफएक्यूज, जो भी हमारी इंक्वायरी, जो भी हमारी क्वेरीज है, उन क्वेरीज का सिलसिलेवार उत्तर, उस क्वेरीज का सिलसिलेवार आंसर हमको शुक्ला सर देंगे। और आज उसी के लिए ये मीटिंग बुलाई गई है। हमने बार बार अपील की थी कई सारे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप के ऊपर में कि आपके अगर उससे रिलेटेड कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो तो या तो एसएलए वर्चुअल टेक ग्रुप को या शुक्ला सर को डायरेक्टली आप वो सारे क्वेश्चन भेजिए। उन क्वेश्चन का सबका आज यहाँ पर उत्तर देने के लिए गुरुदेव आ ही रहे हैं, पीसी शुक्ला सर, बहुत जल्दी। तो पीसी शुक्ला सर के नाम से कोई भी वाकिफ नहीं है, ऐसा शायद इस मंच पर एक भी व्यक्ति नहीं होगा जो वाकिफ नहीं है उनके नाम से। फिर भी एक ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन के रूप में, पीसी शुक्ला सर कानपुर से बिलोंग करते हैं, बेसिकली केमिकल इंजीनियर है, 1974 के पास आउट है आईआईटी कानपुर के, और 1981 में उन्होंने अपना करियर एज ए सर्वेयर एंड लॉस असेसर शुरू किया है। और उस समय से गुरुदेव बाकायदा इन एक्टिविटीज में लगे हुए हैं। वो अपने सर्वे के अलावा मिसलेनियस और फायर में उनकी मास्टरी है, और इसके अलावा वो अच्छे एक एजुकेटर है, और प्रॉपर्टी इंश्योरेंस से संबंधित जितने भी जो भी है उसके बारे में उनका ट्रेनिंग, कोर ट्रेनर करके एजुकेशन, इन सारी चीजों के लिए वो एक्सपर्ट के रूप में जाने जाते हैं। ऑलमोस्ट फायर या मिसलेनियस से रिलेटेड जो भी सेमिनार हो, उन सेमिनार्स में बहुतायत से पीसी शुक्ला सर एक फैकल्टी रहते हैं और हम सबको लाभान्वित करते हैं। अगर हम उनसे कभी भी कांटेक्ट करें तो हमारे प्रश्नों का उत्तर देने में, पूरी तरह से हमको समझाने में हमेशा तत्पर रहते हैं। पीसी शुक्ला सर के बारे में एक ही बात मैं कहूंगा कि लास्ट वेंचर को ख्याल में रखते हुए वो अपनी बात को प्रभावशाली तरीके से सभी के सामने रखते हैं, ताकि फर्स्ट वेंचर से लेके लास्ट वेंचर तक हर किसी को वो चीज समझ में आए। तो बस इसी तरह से आज का ये सेशन हम लोग लिए हैं आप सबके बेनिफिट के लिए। धन्यवाद
राठी सर,
जी।
हमारे यहाँ पे साउथ से और नॉर्थ से दोनों से ही हैं और रिक्वेस्ट चैट बॉक्स में आ रही है. प्लीज टेक इट बाय
Yeah.
लैंग्वेज सर. That is humble
Fine,
request to
fine,
all.
fine. Om Prakash sir, we'll take care. No issue. Yes, we shall take care. Thanks for the feedback. Thank you, Rathi sir. I hope आपका पूरा हो चुका है सर, कि अभी और
Yeah, sir,
बाकी है
yeah,
सर.
sir.
Thank you very much sir.
मैं सैलानी सर को हैंड ओवर कर रहा था.
जी. Dear sir, yes, the last program was specifically for such a gray area where many of the time policy terms, conditions, specific add-ons like spontaneous combustions and all that are not making situations very clear. And looking to the new policies came out like Sukshma, Laghu, and this. ये सारी policies में there are some gray area where we are trying to find it out, क्योंकि whenever we are submitting our report at that time, many of the time we became in dilemma, and terms and conditions or wordings or draftings are making the issues. Or many of the time it also happens that yes, it should go in favor of the insurer or insured. So to make a precise pointing, we are trying to enter on that area where we can do something, or we give the feedback to the competent authority, for which I will request Manohar Senani sir to address more on that front. Meanwhile, PC Shukla is just joining, sir. So request Senani sir, please. Sir, unmute please, sir. Senani sir.
वो ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं मेरा.
Give me a moment, please.
Yeah, please.
Love Patel sir, please continue.
I'm logging in from laptop, so it is taking a couple of minutes.
Meanwhile, we can hear you, sir. No issue at all, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this second session on a very special topic, spontaneous combustion, which is being taken by our big brother, elder brother, Mr. PC Shukla, who is an expert in fire and miscellaneous and other departments also. So we made attempts to make it.
Okay, because
sir, as you have joined from two systems, so echo is coming up, sir. Unmute any one system and keep the laptop open, sir. Sir, you are unmute over here, sir. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Sir. Okay. So it is a very important event for me. I made it a point that invariably I'll attend this session. Mr. Shukla must have made a lot of efforts in preparing the first session, which some of you might have missed it. And so Shukla ji has decided to brush up the previous session in few slides and then go on to the FAQs, which he has painstakingly accumulated in form of some FAQs, and then we can have our questions open for the house. Is whether Mr. Shukla has joined?
Not yet, sir. He
Not,
just
okay.
Not yet.
Okay, I'm happy that few of the insurers have also joined who have quest for knowledge on various topics. The surveyors will join because we are two pillars. One side there are underwriters and claim settling agencies, and on other hand we are the claim processing agencies. We are giving them something in a fashion which they read and they make a decision on their policies. So welcome all insurers. Please keep an eye on the waiting room so that any insurer who is in the waiting room should be taken inside immediately. I'll also let you know about our future plans. Our future plans are to have at least one session every month, either on some working day, and if everyone permits, it can be on Sundays also. But I feel most of the people are saying that if it is on working day between 8 to 9 p.m., I mean, whatever the committee decides, whatever the organizing committee decides, we will have one session on a very pointed subject then we will have a follow-up session for 1 hour on next or next to next days, so that one topic can be discussed in detail and we uniformly absorb what actually is the general view, what is the specific view, and we can fine-tune our concepts. So this is one. We have lined up our 12 months academic calendar for 12 top faculties from the country who have agreed. They will be taking varied topics. And if there is anyone doing hull also, can anyone say hull, marine hull? No, no. Okay. So, in fact, I talked to one of the marine hull faculty who is a marine hull architecture. So, if there are people who are interested, we can have a session on marine hull, which is very rare. Okay. But first of all, we'll take the common policies and common subjects which are haunting us on day-to-day working. Okay. Please let me know when Mr. Shukla comes so that I can stop talking and he can take over the session. Okay.
Sir, I have to brief the audience regarding the previous questions. So you can sum up in 2-3 minutes so that whatever the questions are to be addressed by Shukla sir, that I'll brief up in a minute. So you please continue and try to sum up in 2-3 minutes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I'll sum up. I'll say once again that the entire organizing team and the committee is working very hard to make this particular drive a very successful drive. They are discussing on daily basis from 8 to 9, strictly 8 to 9 and 9 o'clock. But for a few cases when the thing is to be finished, they close. I think this is a continuous professional development for which they are working very hard on daily basis. They discuss on
Please
Sir, we
continue.
lost the audio, sir. We lost the audio, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
now it's
yeah,
clear.
yeah, clear, sir.
Okay, so when I participate in these discussions, sometimes I also wonder that how limited approach I was having all these days, because I get various dimensions of one problem, and when we start collecting all those issues, we come to a rational conclusion. All our discussions may not be conclusive, but we will make attempts that we make our sessions very lively and conclusive. Thank you very much. Over to Lav Patel ji for Mr. Shukla to introduce and start.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Senani, sir. Sir, to add single line, sir, of course, Senani ji has deliberated in length and the clear plan is also available. But sir, we always try to see what are the new approaches we need to put in our daily working style, because change in rules, regulations, a new arrival like GST regimes and so many things. So whether it is value at risk is to be calculated as per the new regime, there are many such changes, I come back to today's topic that a heap is burning, means spontaneous combustion is taking place. In that case, how much portion of the heap is to be considered for assessment and how much is not going to be considered, and for what reason it is not going to be considered, that justification, that becomes a very crucial point. And of course, putting in a piece of paper with required supporting technical wordings, that is more important, because if the presentation is incomplete in any of the respect, then it invites the unnecessary disputes, sir. There were many such points which like flash points. Yes, sir.
Lav Patel sir, I believe Shukla sir is with you, sir.
Okay. So I welcome Shukla sir, and without wasting even a single second, I hand over the entire show to Shukla sir. Welcome, Shukla sir. Very good evening. Pranam, namaste from the group, sir. Everyone was eagerly waiting for you, sir. And please start so that every minute of the participants can be well utilized, sir. Sir, you are unmute. Please, you are mute, sir. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much. I am little bit late. I am extremely sorry for that. So without wasting time, because I was not aware that so much time it will take. This is probably for the first time, courtesy Senani, Lav Patel, I had to prepare some question answer type of stuff. which was little bit a first experience. I never answered any question earlier. So anyway, I am connected right now and with my share my presentation.
Will you take some time, sir, for a minute or two?
No, but I'll just start.
Okay.
Share करो.
Lal Patel, sir.
Share.
जी.
Please continue till that sharing starts, sir.
Okay.
If it is delayed. Okay.
No, let
ठीक है.
Shukla
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
हाँ, जी.
Okay.
Response combustion. Yeah, new folder. Yeah.
Please bear with us for a minute or so. It is on the way.
So, slideshow. यहाँ से कर सकते हैं. So can you see the slide, front slide?
No, sir. Still folder is only visible, sir. You have put a tick mark on 9923. That's it. Open that file first and then share with the screen, sir.
Okay, let him. He is doing. Yeah. Let him do.
Yes, sir. It is available, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So today we have having around how many questions? 6. Huh? 5 to 6. Total about 10 to 15 questions. Yes. So on the spontaneous combustion, that is the following our past presentation, PP presentation on 26th of August 2023. And the name of the presentation was why courts to interpret the spontaneous combustion. So today we'll be discussing about these questions. I mean, there's nothing new. All the questions are, most of them are repetitive. Even then, I tried to handle each of one of them. And with this, I'll start my first question by Mr. Mahesh Sharma. He's from Ahmedabad.
सर थोड़ा सा पोजीशन वो कर लीजिए, माइक वॉल्यूम थोड़ा सा सर.
वॉल्यूम थोड़ा ज्यादा करें.
आप ठीक था बीच में जब पास आए हैं आप तो.
अच्छा, आप ठीक है?
यस सर.
Okay. So the Mr. Mahesh Sharma asked a question: what percentage portion of total quantity of heat to be deleted, which was in spontaneous combustion process? So the question was that that is what he is probably asking about the losses, about the pre-ignition damages. So once you understand that why some percentage of quantity is deducted, it will be easier to explain. That first we have to understand why we deduct some quantity, why he is suggesting, why asking about some percentage. This is a major question asked, that earlier server used to deduct some percentage on account of pre-ignition losses. So as I discussed in my main presentation, that after taking spontaneous combustion add-on cover, the policy is extended to cover fire if caused by spontaneous combustion. But if you see the add-on cover wording, it reveals as below. I mean, that is an add-on endorsement. So it reveals as below. It says the policy may be extended to cover above subject to following endorsement wording in consideration of the payment by the insured to the company in additional premium of rupees such and such. The company agrees, notwithstanding with what is stated in the printed exclusion of this policy to the contrary, that the insurance of this policy shall extend to include loss or damage by fire only, or to the property insured caused by its own fermentation, natural heating, or spontaneous combustion. There is a note given at the end. The expression by fire only in the endorsement above must not be omitted under any circumstances. So now this word fire only is the key word which we need to understand. that why this fire only word is there. I think I have greatly explained in my previous presentation, but for the benefit of anybody who joined this program for the first time, I am just repeating because that is the crux of the whole cover of the spontaneous combustion. If you see carefully, what is cover is fire. A spontaneous combustion is not a cover, first thing. That is the great confusion among the insurer, insured, and brokers, even the surveyors. It is not a cover. It is a cause which is excluded in the main policy. And if you take this extension, that cause is included. So if the client say many times and you reduce some claim or some ignition has not occurred, they're purely pre-ignition losses. When you see number of bags, all are blackened, but there was no fire. Many claims like this, which go to the court and ultimately court award those claims. And recently in one of my case, which I was representing, I have personally gone to the lawyer, met of the solicitor deputed by the insurance company in an arbitration case, and visited twice to the arbitrator on this issue and explained him everything. Even that case also finally gone to the in favor of the insured. You know why? Simply because he has produced hordes of number of judgment of the court, judgment from the Supreme Court, from the upper court, from the different courts in favor of the insurance company. But still I feel that the subject is neither understood by the underwriters nor understood by the judge. I mean, just to understand is very difficult. They do not understand it. It is quite likely. Even the solicitors are not able to understand. Because when I was discussing the matter with my solicitor in that case, every time he used to call me, he says, "Bhai, this is very technical, Shukla ji, I am not able to understand." That was his always a perception. So I don't know, such a small thing is not they are able to understand, and they are charging a hefty fee of rupees 3.5 lakhs in that case, which I was there. So ultimately, he asked me to be present with the arbitrator. Then I made some presentation. I submitted the affidavit. I explained him everything in very detail and convinced him. But when the insured has produced those court cases along with his affidavit, everything is vanished. Everything is gone because we have a very bad history of paying this claim award in the against the favor of the insurance company. For simple reason, the core reason is that everybody thinks that spontaneous combustion is a peril. It is not a peril, it is a cause. And by paying additional premium, you cover that cause. Correct. Now the basic peril is fire. So whatever losses occurred due to cause of spontaneous combustion within a stack or within a heap or within a bag, they are covered. That I have explained in detail this. And once again, just for repetition, let me explain this way. Suppose there is a bag of oil cake, de-oil cake, and the bag is brought in from the market. It costs around 300 rupees. It has been stored in the godown. And what has happened, these are the vegetable product, and there is a continuous ongoing processes, reactions within those. There are the biological reaction, which ultimately result into oxidation reaction, and all oxidation reaction result into heat, and which ultimately convert to fire. So even if in a normal state, which does not expose to any spontaneous combustion, you pick a bag from inside, you'll find its color is slightly different from the bag which is kept on the outer side, because that bag is already undergoing that process, because it is surrounded by the bags, and whatever heat is being generated out of the oxidation reaction which is undergoing in the process, they are not being properly ventilated. That's the result. Is slightly color is changed. Now, when this process takes a longer time, these colors go on changing. There's a stage 1, biological degradation. Then there's an oxidation reaction, right? And ultimately, the third stage is breaking of the soil, and you see charring. There is not actual burning, but entire material is blackened. Still, there is no ignition, right? And when we say the ignition has actually occurred in a bag, when the first carbon of that commodity react with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, then we say yes, fire is started, and we pay the claim. I'll show you what I mean by this technical interpretation of fire. So coming to this question, as I explained you to Mr. Sharma, that this percentage is purely deducted earlier on account of pre-ignition losses. And what are the pre-ignition losses? Because it's a commodity which was at the time of loading was rupees 300 rupees a kg. It was undergoing different processes, deteriorated, and if it is deteriorated just at the time when the actual ignition has occurred. Suppose you find out a bag which was just on the verge of undergoing sparse combustion. You'll find it's totally discolored and blackened, and its value will not be remain rupees 200. Value will be reduced to say rupees 100 or rupees 50. Say rupees 100 or rupees 50. Now, the value of that bag at the time of actual fire due to sparse combustion is 100 rupees, not 300 rupees. That is 0.200. As when the fire broke out in that bag is totally burned, then what is the loss due to fire response combustion is not 300 minus 0. It is 100 minus 0. It is the value at the time of actual ignition to the loss, when it is converted to ash and value becomes 0. So the whole crux of the matter is that the client claims rupees 300, and as per policy, it is 100 rupees. So that's the main issue. And it is because of this reason, this survey used to earlier make some reduction, 20-25% on account of that pre-ignition. That was too mild, in fact. That was probably symbolic. The actual loss, if you see it technically, if you ask me as a chemical engineer, it is around 75-80% at the time of actual ignition take place. उस बोरे की कीमत जो है वो 100 रुपए से 50 रुपए ज्यादा नहीं होती. तो पॉइंट ये है कि जब 50 रुपया देना, then why we take a sparse combustion cover? That is the question. That is the question court asked. This is the question party asked. This is the question the underwriters had. Everybody is facing this question. But the client think that one sparse combustion is covered, everything is covered. Right? The problem with the insurance company that you cover loss due to fire, not any loss due to chemical reaction or biological degradation. That is point to understand. And if you do that, you are defying the principle of insurance. You are covering a uninsured peril. You are covering uninsured. And I tell you, even to that extent, when I was assessing the losses on sparse combustion, then while asserting an value at risk, I deduct that amount. Suppose the original cost of the bag was say about 20 lakhs. If you take the rate of 300 rupees, but suppose the entire lot is subject to sparse combustion, so I do not take 3 lakhs rupees. I take the value at the rate of 100 rupees. That is the actual value before fire. Nobody does it, right? So I think I have put up my point to say on that. So with this, there's no, now coming to the main answer of your question, Mr. Mahesh Sharma. There's no fixed percentage. It is totally arbitrary. It is totally arbitrary. 25 रुपया 20%, 25%, 30%, कोई लॉजिक नहीं है. ये सिर्फ कस्टमर से डीलिंग है कि भाई कितने में तुम संतुष्ट हो गए. 25% काट दें, 20% काट दें, कितने में काट दें. Correct? So Mr. Manohar Sinani is raising some hand. What is his question?
We can have it in the end. I have just raised that I have something on this. We will discuss it in that in open house.
Okay, no problem. Okay, ठीक है. So now coming to your next question, what percentage portion? Then next question, if warranties in the policy are not fulfilled, what should be the remark in survey report? Whether surveyor can suggest reduction in claim, or what will be the impact on admissibility of the claim? I think this is a very good question, but in fact it's not at all. But I think we should understand the difference between the warranties conditions. This is a general thing that even for a newcomer, survey will know, and it should for everybody. And for who know, I mean, it will be just a reminder of whole thing. So surveyor has to make a remark. Suppose some warranty is given. What is the condition? What is the warranty? Let me explain. Conditions are the part of the basic contract. And what has happened when you buy? Suppose you propose to cover some this to underwriters that I want to cover my factory. So he will give you a proposal form, and he will give you all detail. Now, based on that proposal form, whatever information you reveal in the proposal form, he decided to cover your risk with what rate, whether he want to cover it or not. That is his choice, number one. Then number two is at what rate. And number three, with what warranties. It is means, suppose apart from the conditions already there in the standard policy format, he want to put some warranties. Suppose he want to put some basement warranty or some firefighting equipment warranty, something like that. He can put it, and then he'll say, "Okay, I will offer the insurance, but with these warranties, you have to observe these warranties." So these are the additional things. They are as good as policy condition. The breach of warranty is also a breach of the contract. The contract can get void if the warranty is breached. There's no doubt about it. So it is for all surveyors to always read, particularly the non-motor surveyors, to go through policy carefully and read warranty. Particularly in the private players, there are number of warranties. They'll put number of warranties, and you will have to go each and every warranty. Right? And some warranty are such that they have insured, but they will not pay the claim. Right? If you will do this, will not pay you. If you do this, will not pay you. So ultimately, they don't want to pay the claim. They put such enforced warranty in the policy, which is not possible for insured to entertain. That's not possible. But the insured is not aware. He has put away warranty. He has taken a policy. At the time of loss, it is observed by the surveyor that this warranty is breached, and insured is not aware of this. There's such a warranty, because had he been aware of this, he never bought that product. So this is the thing. This is one thing. But the specific coming to your question, the breach of warranty is the breach of warranty. But it is not the surveyor's job to make a judgment on this. You deduct the claim of this much. Are you sufficient? No. That is not your job. This is the job of the insurance company, looking to the customer profile, looking to the past history, looking to his ignorance, whatever parameters they can consider. They can overlook the warranty. They can make some deduction on the claim, say 20-25%, or even they can close the claim. They can file the claim as no claim also. They can do it. They are very well powered to do it. Correct? So your job is to just get the order. Now, there's one more thing. In case you feel that breach of this warranty is not material to this particular loss which you are seeing, then yes, because you are observing as surveyor, you put a remark in your file, in your remark report, as in my opinion, during my survey, I observed that this warranty, the breach of warranty, has really affected the advent of this claim. That can be said. That's it. So that is the reply of your question 2. Now, importance of pre-insurance inspection, exposed response combustion. Yes, it's very, very important. But of course, this surveyor should have a knowledge of the subject. Because the response combustion inspection does not only require your license. I mean, it is license you may have or you may not have, but you should have a knowledge of three things. One is you should have a knowledge of the product. You should have a knowledge of how this product is being should be stored. You should have a knowledge of how this is being insured in the insured risk. Based on that, you can make a picture out of it. You can advise the insured, you can advise the insurance company for future, and you can also alarm the insurance company कि भैया ये जो इनका स्टोरेज है तो इसमें तो कभी भी लॉस हो सकता है, because the storage are used. His product is seasonal, and during season the raw material is available. He has to manufacture the goods for the entire year. So there's a huge storage. There's no ventilation. There is no air ventilation, because all these commodities which are susceptible to response combustion, they are always on the run. Always on the run means they are always undergoing the process of pre-ignition process. किसी में कम है, किसी में ज्यादा है. There are a number of factors that we have discussed in this last presentation. So with this, the knowledge is very important and the inspection is very important. At the same time, the survey should create a knowledge about because there is standard about storage for such product. There are ISI standard for this. So you should go to this standard for storage. There are certain spacing is provided, loading is provided. So you have to make the comment about this loading. So that is the only way you can prevent response combustion happening more. Number two, now built-in response combustion covers Sukshma and Lagu policies and add-on response combustion in standard fire policy. Is there any difference? No, there is no difference. But that endorsement is missing because that is not required. There is in standard fire policy, there was an exclusion, and by paying additional premium, you buy insurance response combustion extension. Now, since in the BSUS and BLUS policy, it is a built-in cover, so there is no such fire only and fire. As far as the fire only is concerned in BLUS policy, the underwriter think that surveyor has a common sense itself to apply and pay the losses only occurring due to the fire only, because it is a common sense. It is need not to mention. You should know it is the fire policy covered and pre-ignition losses are not covered. So you don't have such endorsement which you have in add-on. Clear? Mahesh, clear? Any doubt? Mahesh is mute.
Probably everyone is muted, sir. Or once your presentation is complete, then everyone will be open for interaction, sir.
Okay, no problem. So the same thing which I told you earlier. Now another question by Mr. Utpal Sharma. He asked me this fire inspection of stock chemical, how to comment on the flash point. That's a very good question, though it is not relevant to this topic. Brother Utpal Sharma, he's a upcoming surveyor. I know him. We are in touch for some time. So, for all chemical storage, particularly chemical storage policy are issued with following warranties in terms of flash point, right? There are category 1, category 2, category 3. So if you are given a chance to inspect the risk, then yes, since the flammable liquid having flash point above certain degree centigrade, 65 degree centigrade, have category 1. This is not 650. In fact, this is 65 degree centigrade. So category 1. So you have to mention the different chemicals. Suppose there are different chemical, or there is one chemical. So if there's one chemical, then you have to take, you have to know its flash point. Now, listen me carefully. There are 2-3 things. One is this chemical is subtract, which is a pure chemical with proper concentration. They can go to Google and take out this flash point because the flash point depends on number of things. Now, there are certain chemical which are mixed. They are coming mixed. They have hazardous and non-hazardous both components. For such chemical, we don't have the flashpoint because they are not standard product. They are manufactured product that being shared. But this is hazardous. It has some flashpoint, right? So for such, you have to refer matter to the owner of the supplier, manufacturer, that भैया इसका हमको flashpoint provide करो. Only then proper rating will be given. Sometime if it is not possible, that flashpoint, owner is not giving you the flashpoint, because there are a lot of bungling is also going on, because company is telling something and producing something and giving something, and that insured know, and the seller buyer both know that what is coming, but in the invoice something else is coming for taxation purpose or for whatever, for hazardous good, for non-that, for the whatever. So they will not give you in writing the flashpoint. The best thing will be then get it analyzed from a lab and get a flashpoint if the stocks are used. Because I have done in another case where the stock was worth ₹1 crore was burnt. There was huge stock of chemical mixed, chemical hazardous, and all chemicals were hazardous chemical. They were used in printing process, which is very popular in Kanpur. This flexible printing that is being used while mixing with the ink and all and glue. So the insured know that this product is mixed. It is sold by some other name, and the actual product is different. So I got it checked because my interest was not the product. My interest was the flashpoint. So I got it checked from by the lab, and the insured has to pay the cost. And based on that, then I suggested the flashpoint. Now, there is one more question, is that why the flashpoint is so important? That's the question. You know, any liquid if heated, correct, it changes phase. It changes its liquid phase to vapor phase, right? And if you go on heating to certain point, and if you put a small light, the moment it catches fire and the fire catches fire close, because the amount evaporated get consumed by that flash, then again amount evaporated that being consumed by that is called the flash point. Because that point it becomes hazardous. The purpose is that if a fire broke out in some other part of the risk, and the chemicals which are kept in drums at certain distance, if it gets heated because of that heat, so there is a probability it catches fire and so on. If the flash point is very low, right? That's why the lower flash point will attract a higher rating as compared to higher flash point. 65 degree is a little higher flash point, and 32 degree or below 32 degree is a lower flash point. Now, this is why the hazard, number one. Now, number two, there are two methods of ascertaining the flash point. One is closed cup method and another is open cup method, right? Now, for the insurance purpose, we adopt the closed cup method. Now, that is a science, because I am a chemical engineering student. That's why a little bit experience on this, hand on this. Otherwise, even nobody know. But if you see the hello, yeah. So, but if you see the earlier not
Shukla sir,
हाँ मेरी क्या आवाज
audio
problem,
audio issue sir.
अब सॉल्व हो गया?
Yes sir, better sir.
अच्छा, पहले आवाज आ रहा था, सही नहीं आ रहा था?
नहीं, आपके बीच में अभी केवल कुछ सेकंड्स के लिए ऑडियो इशू आया सर, अदरवाइज इट वाज ओके.
अच्छा, ओके, ठीक है. एक्चुअली वो फिर मेरा ऑडियो वाला काम कर रहा था, अदरवाइज ठीक है. तो मैं इस पे क्लोज कप उस पे जा रहा था. तो नॉर्मली क्लोज कप फ्लैश पॉइंट है. अगर आप टैरिफ देखेंगे तो आपको ये मिलेगा. नाउ देयर इज वन मोर क्वेश्चन इज कमिंग आउट ऑफ दिस. I wanted to share with all of you. There was a massive fire in Kanpur. It was in Podata. I don't know whether you discussed in the last presentation or not. Sharma ji, did we discuss about the fire in Podar tire?
No, sir. We haven't.
Not exactly, sir. Not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay. So before 1993 or 1994, for the chemical or for the product, apart from different properties, in chemicals, and there was the only measure of hazard was the flash point. What happened? There was a massive fire in a tire go down in Kanpur, and that fire would remain for 6-7 days because it's a huge go down, and all rubber tire took huge time. A lot of efforts were made, but fire didn't stop until the material burned. An entire structure was collapsed. 2-3 persons who were inside, they died, and it was a great story on that. So I did this survey. So in those days, you remember, for large losses, LPA was involved, Loss Prevention Association. So that Loss Prevention Association person came to in that loss. I joined him in that presentation. I joined him in that losses, that particular loss. So what we observed, that you see the flash point of the rubber is very high, right? But once it catches fire, it clears so much of the calorific value that it becomes beyond control. It is very difficult to control. So if you are measuring the risk only on the flash point, then it's not the correct. You are leaving a good long stuff, particularly rubber goods, plastic goods, and all that. So probably in 2002 or maybe before, a new unit has come for the plastic goods manufacturing, where the calorific value is being treated as the measure of the rating, that the goods having calorific value below 25,000 BTU per pound or above 25,000 BTU per pound are different rate, considered different rate, right? HDPE, PP are all above 25,000 BTU per pound. And there are certain goods, they are below the 25,000 BTU. So what is this risk? The risk is that the goods having calorific value below 25,000 per BTU, when they burn, they create less heat load as compared to the product or the subject goods which have a calorific value higher. So there are two grades of the risk. So for the below, the rates were low, and for the above, rates were high. Correct? Now, what has happened after this? Something very funny has happened. In most of the cases, the losses, the insurance, because the premium was high for 25,000 above, the premium was low for less. So, in order to that, the development officer, they sell the product, even the product is above 25,000 BTU per pound, but because of the cheaper rate of this and this. So the claim ratio for the below 25,000 per pound was very high when after 4-5 years it is observed, as compared to the above, though it should be otherwise, right? And you were surprised to know the premium for the higher risk is less, and the premium now for the lower risk is high. If you see the tariff, the rate for the plastic goods manufacturing below 25,000 BTU per pound calorific value is more than the rate of the plastic goods manufacturing having calorific value above 25,000 calorific value per pound. This is something strange. I mean, so it is purely on the claim ratio. It is purely on the claim ratio. It has nothing to do with the risk. This is purely a commercial thing. So anyway, so this has came to the point, so I just wanted to discuss. So that is the point. This now another point is coming, that coming to can be flash point is the only volatile liquid and also solid which convert into vapor on heating.
Now, what he is asking a very intelligent question. He is saying that the flash point is only for volatile liquid, only for liquid. Does it also for the solid, which on heating convert to the liquid and then convert to the gas? I mean, that was the question. So my answer is the flash point is only for the liquid. It is not for the solid. That is the ignition point. So there are 2 points. One is ignition point, one is flash point, and there is one more point which is in contrast to the subject. That is the self-ignition temperature. That is related to the spontaneous combustion. So there are 3 points. One is flash point, second is ignition point, and that is the self-ignition, auto-ignition point. So that is question number, answer of question number 3B. Now question number 3, surveyor should remark in report whether all those stock is non-hazardous, hazardous, or extra-hazardous, how to differentiate. Since storage policies are issued on categories, that is category 1, 2, 3 based on the different, there would be necessary to comment on the hazard based on the parameters below. And you see these are the parameters. For category 1, category 2, category 3, these are the parameters, only defined parameters in that policy. Suppose there's a risk where you have 3 different products having different calorific value or having different flash point, right? So the rate charged will be for the highest always. That is the thing. That is the answer of your question. Rate will be only charged for the highest. So now next by Mr. Anand Tukar sir, a very senior surveyor. And while reading his question, a one very old saying of Mr. very prominent motivator speaker, Mr. Shukla, came to my mind. He said, anybody who asks the question knows the answer. So I know Mr. Anand Alutkar sir, very respected among, he knows the answer, but for the benefit of all of you, he has raised these questions, and very intelligent question he has raised. And he's a very exciting person. I mean, very mesmerizing question he used to ask. And I mean, his curiosity is very childlike. A very, very childlike curiosity is that. And I'm quite impressed the way he raises the question, give his opinion, solve the issues. I mean, at this age, somebody having so much curiosity is really commendable. और मुझे एक शेर याद आता है अपने आनंद जी के लिए जो मैं शेयर करना चाहूंगा उनकी इस नजाकत के लिए कि अभी कमसिन है और नादा है और भी है निराली उनकी, इस पे मचले है कि दर्द जिगर देखेंगे। मतलब कमाल है साहब कि मतलब शेर का मतलब ये हुआ कि आपकी माशूका आपसे ये कहे, आप कहें अपनी माशूका से कि मैडम मैं आपको बहुत प्यार करता हूं और मेरा जिगर जो है दर्द करता है जब मैं आपको देखता हूं। तो वो मैडम बोले नहीं अच्छा वो दर्द तो करता है लेकिन बताइए दर्द जिगर होता है कैसे, दिखाइए हमें। अब जो प्रेमी है वो कहे मैं दर्द जिगर कैसे दिखाऊं, राइट? So
nice of you, sir.
Thank you. So with this view, it's my pleasure giving whatever I think right. I think he is a better person to reply, but I try to reply him. There was a risk of fermentation to the stock of molasses. That is what he's during yesterday discussion. We have seen that containing a stock of molasses was shattered on decomposition, material stored in due to fermentation. Probably that cause was given in my last presentation. So there he rose his question. The inference was there was a risk of fermentation to the stock of molasses that he asked. Again asked, confirm. So I say sponge combustion in molasses occurs due to combination of factors including fermentation of sugar, by microorganism, the production of heat and the insulation provided by the thick viscous layer, right? So this is a broader answer. Now the second question is very important. This is very, very interesting. And this is interesting to all. I mean, this was a very interesting question, and I came across with this question about 30 years back. If the molation, no ignition take place, really in molasses fire, you see frothing, you see steam, you see heat, you see it is bubbling around, bursting in the tank or coming out of the tank, and they are regularly being cooled. That is a process ongoing. If you visit to any factory, you'll find during summers, all these tanks having, if they are storage having molasses, they are being cooled from outside. Otherwise, there will be huge frothing. So he says, if there is no fire, then why this points combustion cover is even short or bigger? So that's a very interesting question. I came across to this question. I went to the insurance company, and they said there's no fire, Mr. Shukla, so the claim is not payable. So I said, if there is no fire, as you are saying, we don't see fire in molasses, then why it is in the list of sponge combustion, right? So that curiosity was really very, that something is there. So fortunately, we have a sugar institute in Kanpur. That is the only probably 2 sugar institute in India, out of which this is one of the oldest one. So I went there and I met the head of the department of the sugar technology. He was a very old person, a senior South Indian person. I told him this case, and I asked him that this is in the molasses, is there in the list of the sponge combustion, and I've seen the literature. It has the property of combustion in the literature, but our problem is there is no fire, because until there is no fire, we cannot pay the claim, right? So he said, Mr. Shukla, there is a fire in this, but you don't see fire visibly or the effect of fire visibly, because molasses contain huge quantity of water, right? So he said, whatever heat or fire that to extent is created is being quenched by that water, and you will not see the flame. But you see the other reaction. You see a lot of steam, you see a lot of frothing, you see other reaction, but you don't see the flame. Then I said, how will prove that we will pay the claim? Then there is no sign of fire. So the two questions came into my mind. That does fire mean flame? So there is no flame, no fire. And if it is so, then why we don't have word flame in any of the policy? Why we have word fire? Have you seen anybody ever seen this word flame in any of the insurance policy? I think nobody. There's no policy, in my opinion, where the word flame is. So that is the question number one was into me. Then he told me very interesting thing. He told me that you bring the sample. You bring the standard sample, you bring the sample which was affected. So I've collected those samples, given to him. He given the report after some days, and he called me. And he told me, Mr. Shukla, there is a difference in these two. Now, every subject has certain fixed amount of carbon content. And in the two samples, the percent carbon content are less as compared to the fresh sample. The affected sample has less fire. It means what? It means that certain amount of carbon in the molasses has burned in the presence of oxygen, reducing the content of the carbon overall content as compared to the standard sample. It means oxidation reaction has taken place. but you have not seen the flame simply because whatever flame occurred is being quenched immediately because of the water. It is converted to the steam. So that is something a very technical logic, and I accept. Then I've seen a lot of, there's going to be a lot of literature about the sponge combustion in that claim, and I submitted my report, recommended the claim, and insurance company very reluctantly paid the claim in that particular case. So this is I want to share with you. This is something important I want to share with you. Now, next question: the tank is shattered. It is a short of explosion, fulfilling all the circumstances of ensured peril of explosion. Okay, I mean whatever he say at this end, Mr. Atul, they used to word okay. So in my opinion, it is little less okay. In my opinion, it has collapsed. There's a difference between explosion and collapse. It has collapsed because this has not so much power. This frothing and these reactions have not so much power that they should explode, because they acquire higher volume simply, and in that process it collapses or it bends or whatever happens. So that is one thing. So the kindly understand the clear concept. One, then he mentioned in the next question, kindly understand the clear concept. One is stock, molasses, and other is tank. Now his second question comes that इसमें एक तो molasses है और एक tank है, यानी एक plant and machinery और एक stock है. That is his next question. एक second.
Shukla sir, if you want to take rest for a minute or so, for
No,
a
no,
water.
नहीं.
Okay,
आपको रेस्ट की जरूरत हो तो आप ले लीजिए.
So nice of you. Please continue.
So then the tank was shattered, short explosion. Yes. Now kindly understand the clear cut explosion that there was a risk. Now next slide. Question was the risk. इसका पूरा क्वेश्चन है, can I remove it? इसको हटा सकते हैं?
यहाँ पर the risk of spontaneous combustion is always given to the atom of stock and not to plant.
हाँ,
question है on the
okay.
top.
Okay. A carbon air filter was used in the plant. The mixture was passed in the bottom, and after passing through stock of filter media and carbon, the filter air is collected at the top and then fed to the bacteria to produce some healthy output from it. Okay. Once there was loss to the item of carbon on account of sponge combustion, the entire stock of coal was burned and reduced to ashes. This happened all internally, that is inside the vertical cylinder vessel, similarly to that of silo. The insured has put up the claim under fire policy for one, that is for the item of coal. Number two, for vertical vessel which was deformed severely due to internal fire. The insured has not taken an add-on cover for sponge combustion. What would be the fate of the claim? So this question, because there is one word has come, silo. So now these tanks and these bags and these heaps are going to be think of past. Now whatever we are going to future, we are going to have a storage space which is called silo, since he has referred to silo also. And in coming time, I think many times few of these surveyors should have attended a claim. There are number of claims are coming in spontaneous combustion, in the cover of spontaneous combustion in a silo, particularly vegetable product, food product, anything. Number of claims. So there are cases where the material got heat, discolored, he claimed. There are cases where the fire broke out in silo. There's a product. So that is a new phenomena. In fact, the silos were designed basically for heavy storage, for huge storage, to acquire a small space because they are vertical. Because they are vertical, so they have more space on the air as on the ground. So you can store a huge quantity of grain, food grain, and other vegetable product because they require a large space storage on the silo. But with this now, new things and new challenge on sponge combustion is coming. And many of the surveyors, I mean, nobody has asked me the question on this. And I also came across to only one case where some material was discovered in silo, the claim was made. Then some deep studies already been carried out, and even the manufacturer of the silos are doing changes to encounter this situation to this because of the self-heating of the product which are kept in the silo. So there are huge extensive fire were reported. I was able to show you some photographs probably if they are interlinked in this program. So that is the new challenge. So that is one thing. So now coming back to the main question about the carbon filter plant, I think I doubt that what he's saying comes in the category of the spontaneous combustion, whatever, because carbon has a property. No, they are reactions. There's a difference between spontaneous combustion and there's a difference between reaction or deterioration of carbon reacting with something. There are two things, totally two things. So if there is a carbon air filter which has carbon inside, and then steam was poured in the water after passing through the stalk of filter media, air is collected in the top and then fed to the bacteria. Some healthy output from to get some healthy output. Okay. Once there is a loss of item of carbon on account of spontaneous combustion, I doubt that the loss in this manner should occur in air filter. I have a doubt because I have not seen this equipment, so I cannot say with authority that Mr. Atulkar can better explain. But I doubt there's something like which happened, and it happened. Then yes, it's a matter of certainly study. The next question: the insured has to put the claim under fire policy. Number one, for item coal. Number two, vertical cylindrical vessel which were deformed severely due to internal. The insured. Now the question about the second, the vertical cylindrical which is deformed because of this heat. Whether there was a fire or there was simple heat. If there was a fire on account of any reason, let us not go even for the spontaneous combustion. If on account of fire there was a heat, there was a fire, and as a result of it, the vessel is damaged, the claim of vessel is payable under fire policy. There is no doubt about this, right? And for carbon, I have to see because I'm not sure this happening. I've never come across to this, so I am unable to answer this question.
सर,
या
अगर अपने को इंटरेक्शन सेशन लेना है तो थोड़ा सा आपकी स्पीड इंक्रीज करनी पड़ेगी क्योंकि 9:15 करीब हो रहे हैं.
अच्छा ओके. सो ओके, आई विल मेक इट फास्ट. तो वो रेफरेंस जो आ जाता है मैं बता देता हूँ, तो फिर मौका नहीं मिलता.
समुद्र मंथन के लिए निकले हैं सर, बहुत सारे विष मोती सब कुछ निकल रहे हैं सर. जो सुनने वाले हैं वो कहाँ जाकर के रुकेंगे ये तो सर, बट ये जरूर है कि अप्रोच सबको अपनी बदलनी होगी, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं. सो प्लीज कंटिन्यू सर.
ओके. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट ये मैं पढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ ऊपर, ये मैं ऊपर की रिमूव कर सकता हूँ या क्या नहीं?
हाँ सर, आप रिमूव कर सकते हैं, क्रॉस कर देंगे तो रिमूव हो जाएगा.
अच्छा, क्रॉस किधर करेंगे?
या उसको ड्रैग कर दीजिए किसी भी साइड से.
दीपक, कैन यू हेल्प हिम?
बता देता हूँ.
हाँ दीपक, तुम कर दो. रिमूव दिस. हाँ,
हेल्प हिम.
अच्छा. ओके.
राठी सर पढ़ना चाह रहे हैं.
सर ये जो आंसर लिखा है, आई डोंट सी एनी रीजन ऑफ स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबस्शन इन कार्बन फिल्टर यू आर रेफरिंग हियर. डज इट हैव एनी हिस्ट्री ऑफ स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबस्शन?
ओके.
ये है गुरुदेव आपका.
ओके, ठीक है. तो मैंने वो जवाब दे दिया. The stock of coal at the sugar factory. Next question was at the thermal power station or spilled with water. What's purpose? Yes, that's a very good question. There are various reasons to control dust. to match the main steam temperature and hot reheat steam temperature to the set point in coal-fired boiler. This is a very technical question, but it should be done periodically. Even when the coal moved during in the open racks, there is a water spray done at the different time, just to because of two reasons. There are two reasons for this. One is that there is a friction. As a result of friction, it may catch fire, because there is a friction. There is small particles get friction. There is also, but there is a peril also. So the fire can control it, but fire can also cause it, because the fire once get the water when gets evaporated, it will leave latent heat of vaporization. It may create, it may create inside the heat if they evaporated, and it may result into the burning of the coal. So that is also one of the hazard. But yes, it is done regularly in the boiler. Where the boiler is being used, it is done. Even transit is being done, and when storage we do probably to dust and to make the match. Probably that was this is the second main question about this technical question. So coming to the next slide. What happened? Why not getting next
Deepak,
slide?
please help him out.
We are not getting next slide.
First, you have to cross uploading, and then you have to start uploading again. Go to the window, open window, and click. It will be uploaded.
अच्छा, ऐसा करना पड़ेगा?
नहीं
सर
अच्छा, आप ही कर लो,
करें।
आप ही कर लो, एक्सेप्ट कर लिया मैंने.
I think Deepak can do it. Deepak is having controls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, Deepak, please help.
You have to go back. नीचे है, काफी जाना है आपको. अच्छा.
सर इस बीच में हल्का फुल्का सा एक शेयर हो जाए सर आपकी तरफ से.
Is it okay, sir?
हाँ, absolutely fine. तो can be ऊपर का खत्म कर सकते हैं, इसको खत्म कर सकते हैं. Okay. Okay. So ये next slide, we'll go to the next slide. Next slide, we are not going to next slide.
You just press the next arrow, sir.
Enter.
सर बॉटम में सेंटर में ग्रीन एरो, बॉटम में सेंटर में ग्रीन एरो होगा, उसको एग्जिट करो और फिर अपलोड करके इसको विंडो.
सेनानी सर, आई बिलीव दीपक इज हैविंग कंट्रोल ऑन डेस्क, एनी डेस्क. क्या बात है.
हाँ, ये सेम.
ओके,
ये हो गया है ना सर. ये तो इसके बाद वाली स्लाइड भी हो गई है दीपक.
स्लाइड्स हो गया.
16, I believe it was slide number 17, if I am not wrong.
नहीं, he is in the from present side. You can do it from here, ना? ये इधर से.
Actually, I cannot see the
दीपक
top
अपनी
of your
स्लाइड पर
screen.
जाओ.
अब करो, आप करो,
Go to-
अब करो,
go to next
करो, आप
slide.
करो, अब करो स्लाइड्स को. या
It is slide number 15, Deepak, what we are visualizing.
Yes, yes. Sir,
Yeah.
yes.
हो गया ना?
नहीं,
Can you
You have,
see?
you have to come on 16, then 17.
नहीं, वो आपको पूरा स्क्रीन दिखाई पड़ रहा है?
हाँ, नहीं, हमें दिख रहा है सर. या
नहीं, पूरा स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है
नहीं,
सर,
पूरा स्क्रीन
पार्शियल
नहीं दिख रहा है सर, पार्शियल दिख रहा है.
अच्छा.
वो उससे ऊपर जाना पड़ेगा इनको दीपक. फुल उसके उसमें लेकर आओ। पहले वो स्लाइड ओपन करो ना।
दीपक अगला स्लाइड लीजिए।
ओके, मेरा ख्याल है 1 या 2 स्लाइड और बचे हैं क्वेश्चन आंसर के।
हार्डली 2 स्लाइड बचे हैं।
जी जी।
Meanwhile, I request all the participants कि आपके कोई भी
हाँ, बस ठीक है।
क्वेश्चन आंसर हैं तो
ठीक
एक
है।
बार आप चैट बॉक्स में डाल सकते हैं, so that the same can be addressed.
लव पटेल सर, चैट बॉक्स में कुछ आए भी हैं तो प्लीज टेक केयर ऑफ दैट।
आ रहा है अब?
नहीं सर, अभी स्क्रीन में नहीं आ रहा है सर।
अच्छा, स्क्रीन में नहीं आ रहा है। अब आ रहा है?
नहीं सर।
अभी
अच्छा, तो मैं दोबारा
शेयर
करना
स्क्रीन करेंगे, पीपीटी स्टार्ट करेंगे वहां से सेलेक्ट।
कब से करेंगे? हाँ, शेयर कर स्टार्ट करिए दोबारा।
एक बार एग्जिट करें, फिर शेयर स्क्रीन करें, उधर से पहले पीपीटी खोलें।
नहीं गुरुदेव, आई बिलीव दैट दीपक इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ। शुक्ला सर नहीं कर रहे हैं, दीपक इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ ऑन एनी डेस्क।
ओके।
स्क्रीन दिखाई पड़ रहा है कि नहीं आप लोगों को?
आप ही दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं सर हमें तो।
ओके, तो स्क्रीन नहीं आ रहा है अभी, तो दोबारा करना पड़ेगा।
आई बिलीव लास्ट वाला, हाँ ये अब आ रहा है, अब आ रहा है सर। यस,
वो जो कह रहे हैं सेनानी वो सही बात कर रहे हैं।
oh it is screen that is slide number 11 Deepak, from beginning। नहीं
आ रहा है आपको?
हाँ सर, स्लाइड दिख रहा है, स्लाइड नंबर 11 दिख रहा है अभी।
कौन सी स्लाइड पे था सर?
ये अभी आप जो है
आप 18 नंबर पर आइए दीपक, 18 नंबर पर डायरेक्ट क्लिक करिए।
18 हाँ, यहाँ क्लिक करो, डबल क्लिक इसको, बिगनिंग से यहाँ ले, स्लाइड शो। हाँ वेरी गुड,
आ रहा है?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
ऊपर कर दीजिए। ओके, अब ये पुरुषोत्तम राठी जी का सवाल है। इन ए सिंगल लार्ज साइज हीप हाउ मच पोर्शन नीड टू बी कंसीडर्ड फॉर प्रीग्निशन? एनी थंब रूल? कोई थंब रूल नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है। अब तो प्रीग्निशन का चक्कर ही खत्म हो गया ना, अब तो चक्कर खत्म हो गया ना, अब तो आपको पूरा देना है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। अब आप ही को नेक्स्ट स्लाइड भी चलाना पड़ेगा। नाउ इन केस ऑफ, एक सवाल है, इन केस ऑफ क्या है ऊपर लिखा हुआ है? ऊपर क्या लिखा हुआ है?
दीपक स्लाइड नंबर 19 ओपन करो।
In case of supreme sponge combustion laws, some of us preferring different school of thought. That is sponge combustion add-on cover saying loss or damage by fire only rules out the ignition damage. But when ignition has taken place resulting in fire, the entire loss or damage pre or post ignition has to be considered as being payable matter of the burden. How far is it correct? So you are right. Kindly refer to below. Now next slide.
Slide is not moving, sir. Question 5 is only on screen.
What I request, शुक्ला सर, आप अगर वहां देख पा रहे हैं तो आप वहीं से आप इसका क्वेश्चन पढ़ के और नरेट कर दीजिए आंसर आपका जो
आपको
दिया हुआ
अभी
है।
स्लाइड नहीं आ रहा है, दिखाई नहीं पड़ रहा?
स्लाइड नंबर, वो क्वेश्चन नंबर 5 पुरुषोत्तम राठी जी वाले पे अटके हुए हम।
अच्छा, अब पूरी स्लाइड दिखाई पड़ रही है आपको?
क्वेश्चन नंबर 6। यस यस,
पावर पॉइंट मत रहिए ना, इसको ऐसे चलते हैं, ऐसे मतलब फुल स्क्रीन पे नहीं रहते हैं ना, ऐसे चलते हैं। यू कैन सी नाउ, यू कैन सी नाउ।
यस यस,
राइट, ओके ओके, ठीक है। तो हम किस स्लाइड पे थे?
नाउ इट इज 19।
हाँ, ओके, 19 पे थे। So sponge combustion, in case of sponge combustion, some of the preferring school thought, ये हमने पढ़ दिया ऑलरेडी, मैंने कहा आप राइट हैं। अभी now after losing number of the court cases, the insurance company has agreed not to deduct pre-ignition, but fire is essential. Refer to page number 40 of IC 56, which is reproduced as below for all of you, where the policy includes the add-on cover, a strict and literal interpretation of the word fire only. In the extension endorsement would rule out pre-ignition damages. However, The guideline provide that no portion of the loss be deducted representing heating and deterioration taking place prior to ignition. In other words, once ignition has taken place, the entire loss or damage pre-ignition and post-ignition becomes payable. Now, what does it mean? Now, when insurance company has lost number of cases, so a circular has come probably from GIC. I also have circular number, then given circular by email कि भाई ऐसा करते हैं कि कोई भी अगर लॉस हो जाता है तो फायर अगर हो जाती है तो हम प्री इग्निशन लॉसेज भी देंगे, यानी जो पहले 20, 25, 30% काटते थे वो अब नहीं काटेंगे, लेकिन फायर होना जरूरी है। अभी उसमें चेंज नहीं हुआ। What has changed with this circular that there should be a fire, but what will not deduct is pre-ignition losses. Suppose there is a bag which ultimately finally converted to fire, so and we will deduct the full value of the bag, not deducting any pre-ignition losses. So that is a that is not mentioned in the policy, that is not mentioned in the endorsement. This is mentioned in that circular and the book, because if you are mentioning this in the policy, then this is basically against the principle of insurance, because any insurance cannot cover chemical reaction or oxidation. That is the basic rule. Next question. Next question. हाँ, आप ही कर लो, मैं कर लेता हूँ, मैं करता हूँ. From a senior surveyor through Mr. Senani, while a senior insurer, while assessing assessment, it was decided that we are deducting certain percent towards the claim on the basis of fire not took place initially. What is the technical basis for this? Already discussed the pre-ignition losses, but the percentage or mere assumption as per new guideline. If fire occurred due to sponge combustion, then pre-ignition losses to also be considered. So that is clear. Next question. Also, when we want to cover sponge combustion, then why these riders of fire only, which further complicate the settlement of? This is something very interesting question by the underwriters, and ये पूछ रहे हैं कि साहब स्पॉन्ज कंबशन का जब कवर आपने कर लिया है तो ये सब क्यों आर फायर डाल रहे हैं आप, क्या मतलब जरूरत है? तो आई एम कमिंग बैक टू द बेसिक व्हिच आई सेड, this only covers sponge combustion, cover as a cause, it is not cover the cause remain the fire. तो यानी आग तो लगनी चाहिए ना, बिना आग लगे तो कुछ मिलना नहीं है, because you are covering the cause, you are not covering the peril by covering sponge combustion. So this is the crux where insurer, insured as well as court fail to understand the difference between the peril and cause in insurance contract, and insurance company are losing case after case as their solicitors are also in the state of ignorance. This is the case. And Sharma ji,
yes sir, yes sir,
I'll prepare a, because my judgment has also come,
sir.
I'll go through all the cases which had gone against the insurance company, including mine.
Yes.
And then come with the presentation that what really went wrong, where went wrong,
okay,
where this they are not able to push their point.
We will eagerly wait for that, sir.
हाँ बस सर वो तो करेंगे, अब तो करना पड़ेगा, मैं ही हार गया हूँ ना, इसलिए करना पड़ेगा.
Okay, sir.
Ideally, Supreme Court is covered. Supreme Court is ideally IB civil combustion is covered, and in singly firefighting start, this was combustion traditionally some percent deducted to make auditors happy. It is required by Supreme Court. Some funny questions asked to make happy. We are not there to make happy auditors or insured or anything. We have to follow the policy condition. So that is my point of view, a very simple point of view on this. So that
I
is
believe that is the last slide you have gone through, sir?
Yeah, that is the last question I have gone through.
Okay.
I just take 5 more minutes, right?
Okay.
Just take 5 minutes about the fire and flame. Only 5 minutes, not more than that.
Okay, sir. Not an issue.
Right? So पहले हम देखते हैं अगर ये उसमें आता है तो ठीक है, आपको पूरा दिखाई पड़ता है?
नहीं दिख रहा है सर. Please continue.
Okay. So what I am trying to discuss here in the sponge combustion, in the context of sponge combustion, fire and flame.
एक मिनट शुक्ला सर, एक मिनट. प्रखर सर, आपकी एक तो फाइल अपलोड नहीं हो पाई है, दूसरा प्लीज जस्ट वेट फॉर 5 minutes, then you are most welcome with your question, sir. Yes, continue, sir. Continue, sir.
So fire or sponge combustion triangle, may you need fuel, you need oxygen and heat. fire can be prevented. The principle of firefighting is there that you remove any one of the reason, fire can be controlled. Fire can be prevented or extinguished by removing any one of them. This is the principle of firefighting. All three components are
I believe that slides are not moving, sir.
अच्छा अब नहीं मूव कर रही क्या अभी?
वो पहली स्लाइड पे है मैं अभी.
ऐसा है क्या? अच्छा ओके, तो हम वापस आ जाते हैं इस पे. अब तो ठीक है.
ये पहली, हाँ सेकंड वाला अभी क्लिक नहीं हो रहा सर.
हाँ अभी हो गया.
Now it came. Okay.
So my question is, what is fire? The basically chemical engineering sense or chemical sense that burning of carbon in the presence of oxygen is fire, and the basic reaction that two carbon, क्या किया आपने?
चल रहा, सही है सर, कंटिन्यू.
अच्छा. Now two molecule of carbon react with one molecule of oxygen at a temperature of 304 centigrade and you treat carbon monoxide and smoke. That is imperfect combustion because entire combustion has not taken place. There is still some suspended carbon particle. That's why you initially see smoke and fire. So what you see in terms of smoke is carbon monoxide, and where the perfect combustion takes place, this is carbon dioxide that you don't see. That is imperfect combustion. Now here is the perfect combustion at 600 degrees. The temperature say at 600 degrees centigrade, there is a perfect combustion. All carbon content react with oxygen if it is sufficient, and you will see little of smoke and more of fire and flame. That is a perfect combustion at around 600 degrees centigrade. Now why smoke and heat? The carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. The smoke we see is carbon monoxide with suspended urban carbon particle. It is exothermic reaction because it creates heat. Okay. Next, what is different between fire and flame? Fire and flame. Flame is the visible outcome of fire, good or perfect combustion. All flames are fire, but all fires are not flame. It means what I am trying to say that the crux is that the burning of carbon in the presence of oxygen is fire. Flame is what? Perfect combustion. So sometimes you see imperfect combustion, you see little flame more because the ratio of either oxygen is less or fuel is less. So if they both in a triangle are complete, you see perfect flame. Why flame is seen during combustion? When a substance is heated, it changes its phase in order to better contain the molecular energy being provided. The substance will move volatility, give away vapor or a temperature, and when this floating vapor receives enough heat to get oxidized, it generates a visible flame.
Correct.
Why some compounds burn with flame? The compound substance like wax, which vaporizes, produces flame. So it depends upon whether the substance will form vapor. Yes, it should be volatile. मतलब लोहा कभी flame नहीं create करेगा because लोहा doesn't get vaporized, right? It is only wax or wood, they'll create flame. So there are commodities which cannot create flame, whatever you do, it will melt. लोहे को आप melt करते, लोहे को आप heat करते, it becomes red hot, but still there is no fire. What you see is the molecular energy inside. What is the see the molecular energy? That's why it's melt. It melt and bent because because of the heat, the molecular energy it's bent, and you quench it to this hardening. There's whatever the process done. So it depends upon the whether the substance will form vapor on burning. Means heat, it has a volatile component. Secondly, on burning, if carbon is present in substance, burn completely. Flame is produced due to reaction of oxygen with carbon. Why some compound burn with or without less flame? When the compound does not have any content that can vaporize on heating, it will burn without flame. As no combustible vapor is available, like coal. Coal is a good example for that. When the compound has little quantity of matter that can vaporize, it burnt with less and subtle flame, like coal. What is moldering and charring? These two word is always used and being misconfused. So let us find out what this word. The process of burning slowly with the smoke, but with no flame is moldering. This means the imperfect combustion. Charring is a chemical process of incomplete combustion of solid when subject of high heat. It removes hydrogen, oxygen, and volatile from solid, leaving behind carbon. It occurs at the initial stage of ignition reaction precipitation. That's a very important point I want to say. Charring. चारिंग को अगर आप डिक्शनरी में देखेंगे तो फायर नजर आएगा, चारिंग को आप कहीं भी देखेंगे तो आपको फायर नजर आएगा, लेकिन आप इसको अगर रियल सेंस में देखेंगे किसी केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग के हैंडबुक में या देखेंगे तो इसका मतलब ये होता है चारिंग व्हेन और वोलाटाइल, जो सब उड़ने वाले सब्सटेंस हैं, जब सब उड़ गए सिर्फ आपको सॉलिड सॉलिड मिलता है, हम उसे कहते हैं चार। अब इसके बाद ये सिर्फ जलेगा, क्योंकि जब पहले जो हम हीट दे रहे हैं वो यूज हो रही है उसको जलाने में नहीं, उन उड़ने वाले पदार्थों को उड़ाने में जो उड़ते हैं, इनिशियल हीट। सो जो एक्चुअल हीट consumed by the material, by the carbon content of the material, when all that is being volatile or what is evaporated and what left with the carbon. That is the reason. Just prior to the fire, just a second prior to fire. That is charring. Now let us see one court judgment in a marine claim. In English case law it maintains, और इसने बहुत प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट की है सर्वेयर्स के लिए और इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के लिए. It says IC 56 के चैप्टर 2 में पेज 21 में दिया हुआ है, there should be ignition, which means the presence of flames are prerequisite. Thus mere damage by smoke, heating, scorching or charring without actual burning or not considered a fire in a marine case law, the code held. Does this mean no flame, no claim? And what I described in previous slide is only smoke means imperfect combustion, whereas flame and smoke mean perfect combustion. Does this mean that fire policy covers perfect combustion and not imperfect combustion? Ask this question from yourself, and underwriters who are seeing this program, they should also ask this question. So my conclusion is all flames are fire, but all fires are not flame. Smoldering is fire, but charring is not fire. Smoke means is imperfect combustion, flame means perfect combustion. If the flame is prerequisite, then why term flame is not being used instead of fire? All commodities do not work with flame. That is code. So this is my last conclusion on this for all of you. Because for the topic, that's why I have shared it. So that's the end of my presentation. So I can shut it down.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I will request Lal Patel, sir, please take Mr. Prakhar. He want to say something, and then Mr. Manohar Senani, sir, please.
सर
Over to Lal Patel, sir.
जी आपका स्क्रीन शेयर ऑफ करने पीछे शुक्ला सर.
अच्छा, ओके.
दीपक, प्लीज टेक केयर.
सर जब तक स्क्रीन शेयर हो रही है सर, आपकी हार जो है वो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के लिए काफी केसेस के लिए जीत का कारण बनेगी, तो आप अपनी हार को हार न माने और ये सपोर्ट और सारे चीजों को इस तरीके से लेकर के आएंगे, ये हम लोग बिल्कुल अच्छे से जानते हैं. एनीवे, मैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस की शीट बना के रखा था जो चैट बॉक्स में आई है, सो आई विल शेयर दैट इमीडिएटली, बट लेट्स हियर प्रखर शर्मा जी फर्स्ट एंड देन वी विल गो विथ मनोहर सनानी सर. प्रखर शर्मा जी प्लीज. प्रखर जी प्लीज.
Yes, good evening, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, Prakhar.
Yeah, sir, first of all, thank you for the very nice presentation, sir. First time I have heard anyone going deeply into the chemical analysis of the subject. So thank you for that, sir. I have two questions, sir. The first question is related to underinsurance part. Let's say we are into a thermal power plant and we have 100 crore of coal kept in there, which is prone to spontaneous combustion. Now let's say fire ignites because of spontaneous combustion, and as you said, जो pre-ignition वाला phase था, and let's say the value is around 3 crore, which is pre-ignition phase damage, और उसके बाद में the fire kicks in. Now, sir, my question is that let's say the spontaneous combustion add-on has been taken for, let's say, 5 crore value. So how do you apply under insurance in these cases? Will you take the entire 100 CR value, which is prone to spontaneous combustion? How does it work?
I mean, it's
प्लीज
for,
शुक्ला सर, मेरा
yeah.
ख्याल इनका दूसरा क्वेश्चन भी ले लीजिए, इसके बाद आप दोनों के आंसर दे दीजिए, दैट विल बी बेटर सर.
बोलिए बोलिए.
प्रखर प्लीज योर सेकंड क्वेश्चन.
And my second question is regarding, as you said, sir, during the start of the session, that spontaneous combustion is a cause and not a peril. My question is, let's say if there are 10 heaps, and as you said, just before spontaneous combustion, the quality of the material deteriorates. So, अगर वो 300 का bag था, it might be the value might be 100 or whatever. So my question is that if let's say there are 10 heaps, and in one of the heaps the fire has started, so for the sake of value at risk for the other 9 heaps which have been damaged because of fire, you will take the deteriorated value or the total value. For the sake of clarity, all 10 heaps belong to the same age. I mean, there is no differentiation. One is old, one is new. So these are my two questions, sir.
Thank you, Prakhar. Shukla sir, please.
So as you got to your second question, I'll answer your second question first. Because as you know, now that has been withdrawn. The pre-ignition losses have been withdrawn. Now there should be no pre-ignition losses. If the fire broke out in one heap, entire heap will be payable, right? Without any deduction. Now, once the pre-ignition losses, but technically, if that has not been withdrawn, had there been a situation, it would have been not been withdrawn. Then whatever you are perceiving is correct. You would have taken the value of that heap to the just prior to fire, and also technically, because the value at risk at the time of loss was little less in all the heap, because every heap was undergoing the process. So if you stick theoretically, if you want to say, the question is that all heap will be taken at reduced value. But now this question has no reason at value, because we are paying entire value once the fire broke out, including pre-ignition losses. So in that case, we take value of all other heap, the value on the date of loss, for assessing the value at risk. So that is what. Anything?
Sir, if let's say the spontaneous combustion was not covered and you are excluding the first heap, then for the rest 9 cases, you will take the reduced value, deteriorated value.
No, if the spontaneous combustion is not covered, then why the loss will why the loss will be paid by the insurance company for that heap?
Sir, for other heaps, sir, I am talking about other heaps which are damaged because of spread of fire.
अच्छा, तो ये आपने जोड़ा नहीं ना, ये जो सेकंड बात नहीं जोड़ा आपने.
Sorry sir.
हाँ, आपने नहीं जोड़ा ऐसे.
Spread of fire.
हाँ, तो स्प्रेड ऑफ फायर में जो आप लेंगे, स्प्रेड ऑफ फायर में आप पूरी वैल्यू लेंगे, क्योंकि अब वो प्री इग्निशन का मैटर टेक्निकली देखा जाए. देखिए, मैं अगर प्रिंसिपली जाऊं तो वो प्री इग्निशन के लिए तो फिर हर हीप में कितनी वैल्यू कम हो गई अंदर, तो बहुत मुश्किल काम है टेक्निकली. सो दैट इज ए प्योर एकेडमिक रिव्यू. मतलब वो मैंने इसलिए एक्सप्लोर किया है टू अंडरस्टैंड दी सब्जेक्ट अंडर इंश्योरेंस के बारे में समझदारी हमें क्या होनी चाहिए. मतलब अंडर इंश्योरेंस समझने को, अंडर इंश्योरेंस को लेकर भी बहुत लोग कंफ्यूजन रहते हैं. अगर मैं आपको अभी डिफरेंट 2-3 सिचुएशन दे दूं तो अभी आप खुद कंफ्यूज हो जाएंगे. एंड द सर्वेयर्स हु आर बेसिकली ऑटोमोबाइल सर्वेयर मोर, एंड दे आर आल्सो ऑन हैंड इन द नॉन मोटर, दे आर डूइंग देयर जॉब. They are more confused about it because उनको मोटर में अंडर इंश्योरेंस डील नहीं करना पड़ता.
Exactly.
So always a different situation come and they confuse about the under insurance. They confuse, and even the senior surveyor sometimes get if I put it some other way, equation, a different equation, even you get confused, because the confused. I mean, the best course would be that if you understand the basic, which is called the jig, that why the under insurance is applicable, and what is the basic formula why the under insurance is applicable, then you will always a simple arithmetic equation. This is a इतने में इतना तो इतने में कितना, इतने में इतना मिलेगा तो इतने में कितना मिलेगा, जो हम लोगों को बचपन में पढ़ाया गया था. कोई उसमें रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है, कोई रॉकेट साइंस. तो आपके केस में जो स्प्रेड ओवर फायर वाला जो आप मैटर बता रहे हैं, उस केस में वैल्यू एट रिस्क पूरी देखी जाएगी. जो भी उसकी वैल्यू होगी ऑन द डेट ऑफ लॉस वो पूरी देखी जाएगी विदाउट एनी डिडक्शन what you perceive in those because of the ingoing undergoing reactions, जिसके लिए आप कह रहे हैं सवाल,
जी
क्योंकि वो विड्रॉ हो गया।
क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 भी बता दीजिए इनका सर।
जी सर।
हाँ, क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 क्या था आपका?
सर मेरा ये था कि एक अगर थर्मल पावर प्लांट है जिसमें लेट से 100 करोड़ का कोल है वहां पे, एंड जो अभी सर चल रहा है कि एड-ऑन्स की एक लिमिटेड वैल्यू रहती है, तो लेट से स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन कवर किसी ने 5 करोड़ के लिए ले रखा है, एंड अब कोल में स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन होता है एंड देयर इज अ मेजर फायर। तो लेट से जो स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन या प्री इग्निशन वाला फेज रहता है सर, लेट से द वैल्यू फॉर दैट इज 3 करोड़ मॉनेटरी टर्म्स में। So will you compare this 3 crore to 5 crore and then come to a conclusion that there is no under insurance, or whether you will compare it with 100 crore and say that it was under insured?
पहले तो करोड़ हटा दो, पहले तो करोड़ हटा दो, इसको 1 करोड़ कर दो, 10 करोड़ कर दो। हम लोग की औकात 100 करोड़ वाली नहीं, हम लोग 100 करोड़ वाली नहीं, उसको 8-10 करोड़ 2-4 करोड़ में रखो, ठीक रहेगा। तो हम लोग औकात ही नहीं है मतलब 100 करोड़ की। तो जिनकी है वो चुप बैठे हुए हैं, वो बोलेंगे बाद में। तो मेरा ये कहना है इसमें कि ये बहुत
देंगे तो बोलेंगे ना सर।
बोल गए
बोला
शुक्ला साहब यही तो चाहते थे कि बोले।
So your question is very brilliant, very brilliant question. That suppose there is a stock of total there is huge stock, out of which a heap was damaged in sponge combustion. So how will see the adequacy of the sum insured? Right? That's a question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, for more clarity between you, sir, वो ये चाहते हैं कि सर स्टॉक तो हाई वैल्यू कैसे 50 करोड़ और एडॉन्स की लिमिटेशन है 5 करोड़, तो एडॉन्स को वो उसके हिसाब में कंपेयर करना चाहते हैं, नथिंग एल्स। सो उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू मैंने ऐड किया।
अच्छा, ओके। अच्छा देखिए, मैं इसका जवाब दे देता हूँ आपको, बड़ा सिंपल है। आपका कहने का मतलब ये है कि देर 5 करोड़ का स्टॉक था, 2.5 करोड़ का बीमा किया गया स्पॉन्ज कंबशन के लिए, ठीक है, और 5 करोड़ का स्टॉक ज्यादा था, बीमा कम कर दिया गया स्पॉन्ज कंबशन के लिए, और स्पॉन्ज कंबशन हो गया एक हीप में, हो गया ना?
यस, ठीक है सर।
तो हम क्या करेंगे? तो इसमें डाउट क्या है, हमें बताइए। हम पूरा अंडर इंश्योरेंस लगाएंगे, क्यों? हमें नहीं पता किस हीप में स्पॉन्ज कंबशन होगा, हमें ये नहीं पता कि ये वाली हीप उसकी है हमारी, सिंपल।
सर बट क्लाइंट अगर ये लेता है स्टैंड की जो स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन हुआ है वो तो मेरा एक जो स्टार्टिंग वैल्यू रहती है 50 लाख की या 1 करोड़ की, सिर्फ उसी में हुआ, और उसको मानते हुए मैंने 2.5 करोड़ लिया था, तो आई वाज एडिक्वेटली इंश्योर्ड फॉर स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन।
मुझे एक बात बताएं कि वहां जो पूरा स्टॉक था,
जी सर,
तो यू वर एट रिस्क ऑफ स्पॉन्ज कंबशन फॉर एंटायर स्टॉक कि ओनली फॉर दैट स्टॉक व्हिच टेलिंग आइदर ही शुड, अगर वो स्टॉक, हाँ बोलिए।
या कोल तो लाइक सर लेट से अगर 5 करोड़ का कोल का स्टॉक था, तो एंटायर कोल स्टॉक इज ससेप्टेबल टू स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन, तो लेना तो पूरा चाहिए था। बट क्योंकि ओरिजिन स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन का सर जो हम थ्योरी पढ़ते हैं कि स्टार्टिंग में एक जगह पे ओरिजिन होता है एंड देन द कंटिन्यूइंग लॉस इज स्प्रेड ऑफ फायर, तो वो छोटी सी वैल्यू को अगर कोई समझते हुए और कवरेज ले लेता है तो फिर क्या रहेगा सर उस केस में?
नहीं, आप मुझे बताइए, ये कवरेज ही गलत दिया गया है।
एग्जैक्टली।
शॉर्ट सर्किटिंग एक ही बल्ब से होती है, एक ही बल्ब से होती है ना शॉर्ट सर्किटिंग, जो पूरी जगह फायर फैला दी जाती है। ठीक है, तो क्या आप क्या करेंगे फिर? तो ये फंडा ही गलत है, ये जो सोच है आपका कस्टमर का गलत है, क्योंकि अंडर इंश्योरेंस का प्रिंसिपल ही यही है। दैट इज द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल, बिकॉज एज ए अंडर राइटर आई एम एट रिस्क फॉर द एंटायर स्टॉक। अब वो विच हीप विल टेक प्लेस, करेक्ट, तो उसको पूरा कराना, उसको मुझे पूरी वैल्यू देनी ए बी, या वो बताए कि उसने किस हीप का बीमा कराया, किसी को बीमा नहीं कराया, वो रिकॉर्ड में हो, और यू कैन एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई दोज हीप बाय दोज डिस्क्रिप्शन गिवन इन द पॉलिसी, देन इट्स ओके।
सर
I hope, एक मिनट संदीप जी, एक मिनट, I hope प्रखर जी you are clear with your questions, then we can take other questions, sir.
तो
Okay, Love
अंडर
Patel sir. Love
अंडर
Patel sir.
इंश्योरेंस का प्रिमाइसी है ये जो आपका सवाल है, वो जो सवाल कर रहा है वो अंडर इंश्योरेंस के प्रिंसिपल को चैलेंज कर रहा है। उसमें सब कुछ आएगा, सही भी आएगा, गलत भी आएगा, सब।
मसरू साहब, इंटरेक्शन अब चालू है। मैं चाहूंगा मनोहर सेनानी साहब अपनी बात रखें, इसके बाद क्वेश्चंस लें सभी के ओपन सर। मनोहर सेनानी सर।
No, I'm not. Thank you very much. It could not have been made better than Shukla ji, a chemical engineer. और हमारे हमारे तो अरफन मौला है, हमारे तो एनसाइक्लोपीडिया है। इनको कई लोग फोन करते हैं, अरे शुक्ला जी बताना ये क्या है, एंड शुक्ला जी सेज इंस्टेंटली यस दिस इज लाइक दैट।
उसके बाद तो फोन रख देता है, हेलो भी नहीं करता।
Now, I want to add something, supplement something to whatever Shukla ji has said. There's a query that how are we going to identify the flash point? I'll suggest something. There is one which Mr. A.S. Anthony Raj has already mentioned. Go to the website, look for MSDS, say ethyl alcohol. So that is material safety data sheet. Now, once you open the material data sheet, it runs in 3 to 5 pages. You'll get all information. Just take a print and go on studying. You'll get the flash point also. You'll get the boiling point. You'll get explosivity, and there are plenty of vectors. So every manufacturer has got certain material safety data sheets. This is. Secondly, as a chemical engineer, Shukla ji would endorse me. There are many chemical dictionaries, but there's very handy book. It is called Hawley's Chemical Dictionary. Okay, HAWLEY apostrophe S Chemical Dictionary. This is my table side dictionary, which I bought in 1989. Still, it is not out of print. You go for any material, आपको मिल जाएगा. You will get the flash point. You will get various types of, parameters for that particular thing. So this is one thing which I want, for which I raised my hand. So MSDS and Hawley's Chemical Dictionary. There may be others also. I'm not aware, but this is the most versatile dictionary I am handling for chemical purpose. Now, most of the questions are revolving around pre-combustion, post-combustion, spontaneous combustion, fire, whether to detect what is the percentage. Now, what I will share my view on this. There used to be a circular of United India in early 90s. Okay, I'm having a copy. Somebody had asked me. I'm going to share with any of you who wants. Okay, including Mashruji, who has raised. Shukla ji, if you have any circular. That circular clearly says they have given 3 situations. If no spontaneous combustion is covered, there's only one heap. It has converted to fire. Okay, deduct 25%. Now, from where this 25% came, I'll tell you. Okay, if there are multiple heaps and no spontaneous combustion is covered, and the spontaneous combustion gets converted to a fire, affecting or initiating fire in surrounding heaps, leave that heap and cover all other heaps which are affected due to fire. Okay. Now, if spontaneous combustion is covered and the loss is in one heap only, and it has converted to fire, cover the pre-ignition losses. So that's if you want, I can upload. If it is there in my system, I can.
Senani sir,
Yeah.
I will request that the circular which you are mentioning and Mr. Mashru has asked, put it in our SLA virtual tech group, sir.
Okay,
For benefit of all.
I'll do.
Thank you.
Now,
sir. Thank you.
Now the answer to Mr. Prakhar's first query lies in that. Okay. Second is Mr. Prakhar is asking that 5 crore rupees is the sum insured under add-on. I would recommend that if there is something prone to spontaneous combustion, the full sum insured should be given. Spontaneous combustion, limiting it to 5 crores doesn't seem to be a good underwriting practice to me. So, as a surveyor, if I come, if there's a loss is about 4.5 crores and the value at risk is 100 crores, I would apply 5 crores divided by 100%, 100 crores. This is what the principle says. Now, the last thing, from where this bloody 25% came? There were many questions, no? Percentage, 2%, 5% or 25%. Now, when I read this United India circular long ago, maybe some 25 years ago, okay, so it raised a lot of curiosity. Again, circulars may not be the ultimate thing, but I'm referring because it helps understanding the thing. I started digging out from where this bloody 25% came. So I could lay my hands on a research carried out by a Turkish engineer during his PhD on fuels, particularly coal. He decided, he had drawn a graph. I mean, after several experiments, a graph was drawn, and we saw a threshold of migration from spontaneous combustion to fire was somewhere between 22 to 25% of the quantities. Okay, now I have got a copy of that also. Not easy task, but it was 1996 when I carried out this coal survey in a cement mill. It was a large claim. So I did a lot of research work, and I thought this could be the reason from where this 25% might have come, because they might have contacted reinsurers and reinsurers suggested this. That Turkish engineer research on this subject is there. Now these are the things which I wanted to supplement. Over to Love.
Mr. Love Patel, sir, please.
सर
लो पटेल जी, प्लीज इंटरप्ट करेंगे 2 मिनट में आपको. अभी जो अपने सेनानी साहब से बात हो रही थी, तो वो सर्कुलर मेरे सामने ही है. जीआईसी गाइडलाइन इशू किया है उन्होंने. उसमें ये 25% की बात कर रहे हैं, ये एक भी जीआईसी ने गाइडलाइन इशू किया था, जो बाद में यूनाइटेड इंडिया का भी है सर्कुलर, वो सर्कुलर इंडिया का भी है. लेकिन 25% तो मुझे उसमें कहीं नजर नहीं आया. वो है तो ओके.
I'm trying to share it now itself, if I'm able to do it.
ओके ठीक है. तो सर्कुलर जो है वो लॉस अकरिंग टू द स्टॉक्स ऑफ मटेरियल स्टोर्ड इन बैग्स एंड इन हीप्स एंड बैग. बाकी तो कोई खास चीज नहीं है, लेकिन 25% मुझे कहीं नजर आया. नंबर 2, जो 25% का अगर जो आप बता रहे हैं वो करेक्ट भी है, मान लीजिए एक रिसर्च है तो कोल पे रिसर्च है या किसी एक आइटम पे रिसर्च है. इट वेरीज फ्रॉम कमोडिटी टू कमोडिटी. आप जिस पॉइंट की बात कर रहे हैं कि किस पॉइंट पे मटेरियल इतना जलता है कि वो फायर पकड़ ले, बिकॉज इट डिपेंड्स ऑन नंबर ऑफ रीजन. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द साइज ऑफ द स्टैक, because if the size of the stack is bigger, right, and the heat generated is not properly dissipated because of the high stack size, then there may not be, this is applicable. This may be some average, and maybe for the coal, as you probably research was made for coal, you are referring to coal, I think, about this.
Yeah.
So this 20%, 25% is not applicable to all and cannot be, because every commodity has different, that you will agree on this. तो मुझे लगता है
probably referred to the coal itself. The research was carried out on the coal.
coal.
लव पटेल सर, सबसे पहले तो हमारे सभी पार्टिसिपेंट को सैल्यूट कर दीजिए सर, जो लगातार हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. थैंक्स टू ऑल एंड फॉर मेंटेनिंग गुड डेकोरम. सो नाइस ऑफ यू. लव पटेल सर प्लीज.
सर देखिए, 2 चीजें हैं सर. ये अमृत काल चल रहा है भारत का, तो टर्किश इंजीनियर को भी चैलेंज करने के लिए पीसी शुक्ला सर कब बीड़ा उठाएंगे ये नहीं कह सकते, लेकिन इनकी कोर्ट की हार की जीत से इंश्योरेंस कंपनी की कई जगह जीत तो पक्की कन्वर्ट होगी. और सेनानी सर और शुक्ला सर इस प्लेटफॉर्म से जुड़ गए हैं, तो सारे मेंबर्स को ग्लू की तरह चपकना तो पड़ेगा ही पड़ेगा, चाहे वो कामत साहब हो या मशरू साहब हो या प्रशांत कोचर जी हो या कोई भी हो. तो मैं कुछ के नाम नहीं ले पाया, बट अंटोनी राज साहब ने काफी एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन रखा था. एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट अंटोनी राज सर दैट यू कम आउट एंड इंटरेक्ट डायरेक्टली टू पीसी शुक्ला सर. पीसी शुक्ला सर, अंटोनी राज सर ने 3 या 4 मैसेजेस डाले थे, स्क्रीन पर वो अवेलेबल हैं. तो इफ यू वांट टू गो थ्रू विद द स्क्रीन,
उनको आप अनम्यूट कर दीजिए ना.
या आई एम जस्ट डायरेक्टली इनवाइटिंग हिम सर.
लव पटेल सर, आई विल रिक्वेस्ट टू अनम्यूट ऑल.
Sir, I am not able to understand in Hindi.
Okay.
So that I left sometime as the discussion was in Hindi continuously.
No, it was not in Hindi continuously. Wrong. That's not correct. It is
Okay.
not. No. That's
Okay.
wrong.
Okay, Mr. Anthony Raj, put your questions, please.
It was 20% in Hindi and 80% in English.
I agree with you.
And whatever
all other cases.
Just a minute.
Insurance, under insurance.
Just hold on. Whatever I spoken 20%, I'm sure you must have understood. Body language से समझ गया. Body language से समझ गया.
Okay, Mr.
I can
Anthony Raj.
understand in between the lines, but continuously there was a discussion on this under insurance on coal. And, that discussion it went entirely on Hindi.
Okay.
No issues, Anthony. You can pick up now in some percentage. I am very sure.
बोलिए. Boliye, you are welcome.
That was in the screenshot already. It was in the screenshot. Whatever the questions I asked on fermentation of molasses, the 2 questions I have raised.
पटेल सर वो वापस शेयर कर दीजिए क्वेश्चन.
Sir, I'll read it for you, P.C. Shukla, sir.
Whether fermentation process will not reduce the carbon level, whether there will be a release of combustible gas in the process of fermentation. If there is such possibility of continuous release of such gas, the pressure inside the tank, and when the internal temperature reaches beyond the limit, the gas may got ignited, and whether such process can lead to explosion of the tank. Okay. So my
Ravi
first
Kumar ji, please mute yourself.
So my first reply to this is that I think in fermentation process the carbon are not consumed. That is my first thing is, and kindly check it. I may be wrong, but the fermentation of molasses does not consume. Fermentation is something different. It is the biological and other things, molds and fungi and other things have come into picture. This is biological degradation process. So carbon is not involved in this. So there is, number one, if there is a possibility of continuous release of such gases, the pressure may increase inside the tank, and when the internal temperature reaches beyond the limit, and it is not only the internal temperature reaches beyond the limit, it is also the volume increases, because it has create not only pressure due to temperature. Yes, it is create pressure due to temperature, but the rate of rise of temperature is proportional to the volume, the stake volume. That's why wherever it is stored in tank, normally it is better to store in pits, because in pits you can control, and drums or the tanks are a specific storage area, and if tanks are full and the temperature are high, then all chances of busting or all chances of coming it out, that is called frothing, liberation of some methane gas and something. The lot of activity, biological activities come in this. So that's why the and probably it is not the exact what explosion meant is the sudden release of pressure, sudden increase in the pressure, or some exothermic chemical reaction occurring. So some exothermic chemical reaction action within a vessel also causes explosion, because exothermic reaction release hot of heat. So high heat means expansion of air, that creating pressure on the inside wall of the tank, and it may go out. So that is the number one to reply. Then another question is MSDS of the chemicals.
No, that is the for information. Antony Rajji, do you want to interact any more?
No. This is for the information.
Yeah, that we understand. Now, any other point you want to raise? Otherwise, we give a call to another person.
No. Let me explain one thing about MSDS also, about the flashpoint, something like flashpoint you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So the
and other chemical azoles. You can get it from the MSDS.
I tell you.
You can collect the MSDS, and all the data will be there.
I think you have not heard my lecture well. In that lecture, I've given a case study also, where I visited a place where he was providing a set of chemical which have number of chemical, mixed number of chemical, right? Put some name chemical, that is a finishing chemical. So this finishing chemical has toluene, this chemical has some oil, something like that. 3-4 chemicals are there. So how to get that flashpoint? That was the question.
Sir, if it is a raw material or finished goods supplied by somebody, or these manufacturer is going to supply,
it's not
definitely they will have MSDS.
Oh, they don't have, suppose.
Then we test. Then we have no other option.
Okay. So I gave you that opinion, no? I know that.
Yeah, I could understand, sir.
Because I have given such an opinion where that lot of mixing is done in Kanpur, lot of number 2 is number 1 is going on, but I have to find out the correct this. Then there was no other way just to find out the flash value from a lab. So that is the only way out we did it.
Okay.
So MSDS and that books referred by Senani is, yes, very wonderful. I have this book, and but now Google, we all have the data available, but still I have that book. It's a wonderful book, Chem Prediction, there's no doubt about it. And MSDS is a very good source about this, no doubt.
Patel, sir,
we have two more participants to interact with you, sir. One is Sandeep Mashru, sir, and second is Mr. Nitin Joshi, sir.
and one more you can add.
Yeah,
Mr.
right
Ketkar.
now, yeah. Mr. Nitin Joshi ji has mentioned earlier that hydrant system around the stock is in warranty, but when fire loss started, hydrant system has not operated. Due to non-operation of hydrant, fire spread more. So that way he wanted to say regarding the warranties and conditions. So that is the point. And Mr. Sandeep Mashru has raised 2 points.
पहले इनका जवाब, पहले let me reply him question. Hydrant system around the stock warranty, if there is such warranty, and if you say that warranty is not properly observed, then you can mention in your report. And if had exaggerated the loss, if you are sure as a surveyor, because that is a very, very adverse comment, and then you have to face the music of the insured. Because saying that hydrant system is not there, one thing, and saying that had there been hydrant system working, the fire would have been controlled. That is something very, very brutal to insure. So isko aap, you can tell to him that we are very sure about it, to prove even in the eye of the insurance company and the court of law. And this, because that is very, very important. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, now we are already 10:06 and we want to wind up within 9 minutes, sir, by 10:15. Generally, we close it sharply by 9:30. So we want to be very precise, sir.
कोई ऐसा नहीं है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, अपने सब लोग हैं, कोई नहीं है, घर में खाना बन गया है, बीबी इंतजार करे, उसको बोल दो तुम खाना खा लो, हम आ रहे हैं.
सर आपने चाय पी ली है, बाकी लोगों की चाय बाकी है सर, ठंडी गर्म दोनों.
ये बात सही है.
Yes, sir. Continue, please. Continue.
Sandeep Mashru ji, please.
Yeah. Good evening to all. Namaskar from Gurujan.
Namaskar.
Sir, regarding that Prakharji's question, in fact, I came across one policy where a steel plant was having a spontaneous combustion cover for coal, and they had number of claims. So there was no as such renewal done by insurer were not interested. Then one of the insured gave with the first loss basis, like 5 crores sum insured. So losses up to 5 crores they will pay and not more than that. And that is how that question may be relating to that. That I have seen in one of the IR policy recently given to one steel plant. Just to add in that. And another point, sir, because I joined little bit late, so sorry for that. And I was just following your point of stating that pre-ignition material, which is a heated material, and then fire starts. And you are connecting to some circular, and Senani sir also spoke of that circular, which was older one. In present scenario, fire only in fire policy, it is a fire only what we give. What my understanding is there, I will try to get a more clarity from you on that after later on. I will join you again and speak to you, sir. In most of the cases, this heated material left over is much more, and fire damages, strictly fire damages, are very limited in this type of, whether it is a cotton seed, coal, or a rice bran, or other things also, where we come across such type of fires. So there, what we feel heated material is more, and only fire is limited, because once flame comes, they do firefighting and quench that. So if preheating fire, which was a charred or blackened, should we take in totality or only the flame portion, negating some percentage depending on the nature of heap and all that? So that was my one point. And another, sir, just correct me if I am wrong.
वन पे छोड़ दो, पहले वन पे छोड़ दो.
ठीक है सर, बहुत दिन बाद मिले ना, इसलिए बोला.
पहले वन पे छोड़ दो.
जी सर.
I think your question is that heap, and because there is a guideline given already in the that is in my presentation, about the heap, that in heap, one heap will be considered if the fire broke out within a heap, if the loose material like coal and all. So one heap will be considered is in the sponge combustion. So partially material is okay, partially material is under sponge combustion. So that will be, entire heat will be considered as a subject of sponge combustion. Number one. In case of bag, each bag will be considered as separately as a subject of sponge combustion. ठीक है? So this is हो गया heap and this is हो गया bag. ये आपका दो वैसा है और एक कोई और आइटम है packing का. One is heap, one is bag. There is one more. Anyway, so in your case, that heap, that particular heap will be considered for loss, and fire emerging out of that and to the adjoining heap will be considered as simple fire loss. This is being talked about greatly, because that is very simple, because spread over of fire is fire. There is no question about that. But normally it does not happen. I have rarely seen where the fire in a go down from a heap came out of bound and engulfed the adjoining heap because of the fire. Rarely seen. I mean, because this fire was not so, because the moment smoke comes, they get charged and they immediately quench even the large heap. So in my opinion, your question about that heap will be considered sponge combustion. Now regarding pre-ignition losses, it is not mentioned fire only. Yes, you are right. Principally it is fire only. But now I told you, because of this circular, there is a circular on this. There is I referred the IC book that all the losses, including pre-ignition losses, are to be considered of that heap under sponge combustion without deducting any. This is because I have given you the background that number of court cases being lost by the insurance company. So the General Insurance Corporation has taken decision that pre-ignition losses in that heap will be considered also, but there should be a fire in that heap.
Yeah. And so second, I like Prakharji and Senani sir and all of you are talking about the coal fire. From my experience or understanding or discussion with the people in mines and other who hold the stock, see, these are not a sudden, means at times people see the flames coming out of a coal fire. And see, whenever even hum koila jalate hain, even for a cooking, if in evening times near mines, you will find some smell, burning smell. And in one of the cases, I went for a risk inspection in one plant, and adjoining there was a plant and there was a smoke coming. I took a photograph just for a record. I knew that this insured will come up with the claim. He lodged claim after 1 month. And I went for a survey. So I said, what is the basis for selecting the date? So usually I ask this way, why you have selected this day? Because in coal, as per my understanding, in coal heaps, there is a smell coming out of one heat start. And if they wish to control that, they can do that, but due to voluminous stock, they cannot do. Otherwise, it should not reach to the flame or ignition situation. This is what I feel. And it should not vigorously burn. What is your take, or what is your view out of your experience, sir?
Now, I remember a question of a teacher in 3 Idiot, which says, "Are कहना क्या चाहते हो यार?" What is your question?
सर उसमें मेरा ये कहना है कि ये vigorously नहीं हो रहा।
सवाल क्या है?
सवाल ये है कि सर जब स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन स्टार्ट हो जाता है तो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ केसेस में
तुम्हें सवाल कर रहे हो, तुम्हें जवाब दे रहे हो।
नहीं तो ये हम
एक मिनट, एक सेकंड। हाँ, अगर क्लाइंट को पता चल जाता है, the question, your question is, in majority of the sponge combustion, the client is aware a sponge combustion is going to happen. This is what you're saying.
No, it has started.
It has started. Okay. So as a then yes. So then he does normal whatever he can do within his resource. So what is the question?
But they as fire only is the word. So client also commits कि we are waiting till ignition is visible.
Oh,
then only we lodge a claim.
Okay.
ये
सर
सवाल
बाउंसर एक तरफ से नहीं दोनों तरफ से हैं सर।
ये सवाल तो बहुत बढ़िया है, because in one I tell you, in one of the cases, very old cases, there was a fire in a shop, and I took a statement of the first eyewitness. He given that because the shop was closed during night, and the eyewitness given a statement that, sir, during the night of Idna, when I came out of the bathroom, I saw smoke is coming from his shop. So I immediately called him. He came. He called the fire brigade. Fire brigade broken the lock. They immediately opened and closed, and lot of smoke was there, and they closed the fire. So in the entire statement, this guy has not mentioned about the flame or fire. Right? I submitted my report and recommended the claim. Now the person who is processing the file, he said, Shukla ji, you have seen his statement. At no place he has mentioned about the fire or flame. Hamne, you are absolutely right. Because the fire brigade, when came and the smoke was seen, he said, look, just hold on. Let the flame occur, open the shutter, let enough oxygen to reach, and then the fire occurred. Then I said, yes, the peril started now, and fight the fire now. Right? अब आपका claim शुरू होता है, अब your claim start now.
Okay.
So the moment these saw the smoke, the response combustion is already taken, because you are talking about smell or smoke. In one case, yes, good question. I want to show you a video, because in the next program I will show you a video. शर्मा जी, मैं 2 मिनट में बात खत्म कर रहा हूँ, बिल्कुल इसी सवाल से जुड़ा हुआ. Recently I came across to case where insured in a godown of oil cake, there was no fire. When he went inside, he smelled something. He called his person, by smell from where the smell is coming. Then I have got entire video on CCTV footage, right from this to this. Then some layers were removed. After some time, the smoke started coming. Then he started removing the layer and layer. And then after that, he saw fire after some time. He immediately started fighting the fire with this water, and ultimately kept on fighting the fire due to water. So ultimately, in this case also, he simply had a smell. But once he's removed the stack, just removed few bags from the stack, there was a huge smoke and fire. So this can happen. It is fire, because fire already broke out there. There was not sufficient oxygen. So is a insufficient combustion. So insufficient combustion is as good as full combustion. Yes.
Shukla sir, last question, not the least question, sir. We will have another session. हम लोग question answers और note कर लेंगे. Mr. विवेक केतकर ने काफी देर से hand raise किया था, and he could not given the chance, but I am just sharing his questions, and then we will conclude, sir. He is writing, I have conducted marine cargo loss. The consignment of 3850 barrels contain various materials in powder format imported. After receipt at destination, 2895 barrels were opened and found all material found in charred condition. तो इतना लिख करके उन्होंने छोड़ दिया है. तो आप कह पाएंगे या विवेक केतकर जी को वापस से बुलाएं इंटरेक्शन के लिए, सर?
नहीं, this is possible. That depend on the property of the material which was loaded. I don't know whether the shipper has known that the property of this material, that whether it has a characteristic that entire material turn into char during transit from one place. It is imported material, as you are saying. So it took.
केतकर साहब हैं.
हाँ, बोलिए मिस्टर केतकर. Yes.
Sir, actually, after conducting the survey, when I analyzed the entire consignment, I found that the charring of the contents found some odor. Hence, I engaged the forensic department and conducted the carbon testing, carbon dating. We found that for sailing and up to the destination, the time period, it was about 92 days entire. But after carbon dating, it was found that that the material was charred and damaged about 152 days back.
Back.
Oh,
So entire 15 crore claim is reputed.
Okay, okay, okay. So this is how the technology is being used. है ना?
Yes,
This
sir.
is how the technology is being used. That's a wonderful thing to do. That's how you have used the technology, Ketkar Sahab. Congratulations. And
Sir, on
for very
last we will take up Rajesh Gupta ji, and I'll also request Rajesh Gupta ji to conclude the program on our behalf. Rajesh Gupta ji, please.
सर एक आपका आशीर्वाद चाहिए। एक कोर्ट केस चल रहा है जिसमें कोई 60 लाख की कंसाइन, ये जो है स्टॉक्स जो हैं डीओसी ड्राइड ऑयल केक्स स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन के बेस के ऊपर में नो क्लेम कर दिया हुआ है। आग लगी, स्पॉन्टेनियस, शुरुआत स्पॉन्टेनियस से हुई, वो जो ओनर है बोल रहा है स्पॉन्टेनियस हुआ, उसके बाद में आग लगी। देन देयर वर 2 टैंकर्स ऑफ फायर ब्रिगेड विच कंट्रोल्ड द फायर। वो गोदाम में पूरा वो जो चीज है डैमेज हो गया, बट इंश्योरेंस कंपनी हैज दिस डिक्लाइन द क्लेम ऑन द बेसिस दैट सिंस यू डोंट हैव ए स्पॉन्टेनियस कंबशन, तो वो क्लेम नहीं देंगे। दो स्प्रेड ऑफ फायर विच हैज टेकन आफ्टर द प्री इग्निशन, उसके बाद में वो जो चीज है वो भी डिनाई कर दिया है। सर वो मेरे से एक टेक्निकल ओपिनियन के लिए पूछ रहा है एज एन एल्डर, एंड वो चीज मैं सर पकड़ूं इसको?
मेरे ख्याल से नहीं। उसके लिए दूसरे जो रिटायर्ड बंदे हो ना, कोई उनको करवा दीजिए उनसे, जो बहुत एक्टिव नहीं है सर्वे में।
बट वो प्राइवेट कंपनी है और उसके साथ में अगर स्कोर सेटल करने हैं तो
हाँ, तो क्यों नहीं कर सकते हो? अपनी टेक्निकल ओपिनियन तो दे सकते हो, उसमें तो कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं है। एज ए इंजीनियर यू कैन गिव इज टेक्निकल ओपिनियन ऑन दैट। एज ए इंजीनियर यू कैन गिव, बट लेकिन आप रेगुलेशन देख लीजिए। यू कैन एज ए सर्वेयर, बिकॉज यू ऑल्सो होल्ड द लाइसेंस, सो आर यू कॉम्पिटेंट टू बी ए टेक्निकल ओपिनियन। शायद हम लोग दे सकते हैं, मेरे ख्याल से ऐसा कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन हमारे रेगुलेशन में नहीं है। विजिट कर लीजिए और अपना स्कोर सेटल कर लीजिए।
नहीं सर, केस पुराना हो गया, विजिट तो नहीं पॉसिबल है। ऑलमोस्ट मेरे ख्याल से 3 साल से ऊपर, 4 साल से ऊपर हो गया
नहीं
चलते
नहीं
हुए।
नहीं, वो तो अब तुमसे टेक्निकल इनपुट चाह रहा हूँ कोर्ट में लगाने के लिए।
जी जी जी, वो चीज सारा नेचुरली साइट विजिट और वो चीज होगी। उनसे रिपोर्ट्स के लिए पूछ रहा हूँ कि उनका जो, मैंने उनको यही बोला है कि पहले आप रिपोर्ट्स कॉल इन कर लीजिए जो आपके वकील के पास पड़े हुए हैं। उसमें उन्होंने शायद फॉरेंसिक एक्सपर्ट की भी ओपिनियन